We're back.
Thank you.
We're back.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We're back. Thank you guys so much for being here this evening. Good evening and hello to everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Max's Man Cave. Did you guys watch the Cowboys get spanked by the Lions not too long ago?
It was glorious. It was very glorious.
Drew, are you a Detroit fan or you just don't like the Cowboys?
I just don't like the Cowboys. I'm from Indiana, but still, if I'm going to go for an NFC team, I'm going for the Lions because the Lions, like if you're an NFL, if you know the history of the NFL, and the Lions have been like one of the most snake-bitten teams in the last 50 years. So it's like to see them win, to see them be 4-1, and to smoke the Cowboys at home. Yeah, this is a good day.
In Jerry World, 40. What was it? The final score was like 47-9.
Yeah. 49-7. Yeah, just but this is right after Jerry had just signed Dax and CeeDee Lamb to their contract extensions. So yeah, it's a good day.
They had so many fumbles, so many turnovers. Just it was bad. But Detroit took advantage, and I don't know if maybe this is just me, but I was watching the Lions. Their offensive line, and I was like, these guys can move. Like these guys were
they were. I mean, if you watched them in an NFC Championship game last year, they were literally a couple plays away from the Super Bowl. They fumbled it. They really screwed up in the second half against the 49ers, but I really think this is their year. I think the Lions will be in the Super Bowl this year.
Wow, that's it. Okay, well, that's the prediction. You heard it here first, folks. Drew, aka Dolan, is rooting for those Lions, or he is. You're projecting that that Lions will be in the Super Bowl. Who else? Chiefs or Vikings?
No. For the AFC, it's looking like probably the Chiefs again. I hate to say it. I don't want to say it. It's maybe the Chiefs or the Ravens. It's gonna be Chiefs or the Ravens in the Super Bowl for the AFC. So, but I would love to see the Lions take it home. I would love to see them just because they're, like I said, I love snake-bitten teams. Finally get it, so I think this is their year.
Everyone loves an underdog.
Yeah.
But, well, enough of that foosball talk, enough of the sports ball. Who does that?
Devil.
It's the foosball. Who
played the foosball behind my back?
Bobby Boucher. My mama said, yeah, great movie. But this is a nerd show, so we're gonna talk nerd stuff. None of this sports ball. But first things first, let's shout out to Rudy Taitague. I believe that's how I think I'm getting better at saying it. He says, "Welcome everyone to tonight's show. Pour yourselves a beverage or two and get ready to be informed and entertained. Smash the like button." Well, thank you, Rudy. I appreciate that, and I agree. We're going to have a great night this evening. We've also got Cajun Corey saying, as a Saints fan, I would love to see the Lions win it all. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. JD Petty, I'm in Panther territory. Yeah, baby. He says, most people here root for ABC. NFL is not going to get the Chiefs to the Super Bowl again. Those refs might
they're good at it. Refs are good at it.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, thank you to everyone in the chat, and thank you to everyone who's watching either live or on the replay. The past 3 weeks, or honestly month, has just been a whirlwind of work, weekend events, travel events. Work has been pretty crazy. This first part of what would that be? The fiscal year or I don't know.
October 1 fiscal year.
Yeah. So it's been a little hectic, but I appreciate y'all being very patient and understanding. And but we're back after a 2-week hiatus, I believe. So feels good to be back in the old Max's Man Cave. So Josh, how have you been, man? What's new with you? Anything going on in your life or with your show? Recently, we did your birthday stream and our first iteration of the comic book club. Yeah.
Yeah. So we launched the comic book club roughly 2 weeks ago. Last week we did the birthday stream. Yeah, I mean, we're rocking and rolling. The birthday stream was fun. It was nice to just kind of kick back and not have to worry about topics. Not have to. I mean, I guess we pulled FMK, but that was kind of fun to
That was fun.
throw out there and just shoot the shit. So it was a nice night.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got some fun stuff in the pipeline. We got more comic book club coming. The next one's gonna be X-Men God Loves Man Kills. So that'll be a fun little kind of discussion. And I don't think I haven't assembled the panel yet, but I have a feeling that the panel won't be as in sync with this story as we were with Superman for All Seasons. So.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I have to go back and reread it. Because from what I remember, it was so woke. It's one of the most woke comics ever.
Calm down, Yellow Flash.
It's about police brutality and gay rights and all the buzzwords. So it's woke. But my next question, have you read Absolute Batman? Scott Snyder's Absolute Batman that's going to save the comic book industry, Josh. 200,000 copies sold.
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's over there. It's sitting right over there. It's in my October #1s pile that I need to read.
Oh, you actually have it. You bought it. Okay.
Well, I try to buy whatever I'm going to read. I try to buy not for the sake of the comic book industry, but for the sake of my LCS. So
that's fair. That's right. Yeah. Drew, did you buy Absolute Batman?
Despite my local comic shop having mounds of them unsold on their racks, I did not. I did not buy one. Yeah, I did not buy one. Yeah, because look, I support them wholeheartedly. I buy indie books to no end. Like I'll buy like 7-8 indie books a week, but I will not buy a Marvel or DC book from them. Not happening.
That's fair.
I will just based on him saying that his LCS had like mounds. My LCS had mounds. There was someone that posted a video on Twitter where they were like, "Don't believe what you're hearing that Absolute Batman is sold out. They just sold out based on what was printed because they just printed roughly to what was ordered." But then she went through and it was like 8 stacks. And when I say stacks, I mean like stacks that they still had. She's like, "I promise you, there's plenty of these out here." And then at first I was kind of curious because there seemed to be some buzz from people that don't read comics but had picked up, like Scott Snyder's Cordwell's or whatever, that seemed like they were interested. So I asked my LCS owner, I was like, have you had a lot of people coming in just being like, "Hey, Absolute Batman, where's that at?" And he's like, "Nope, I haven't had a single one." And I swear to God, as I'm asking him that, this like guy comes in frantic. He had an accent. Like a Spanish accent, and he's like, "Absolute Batman, do you have Absolute Batman?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's right over there." And he like beelines to where they pointed, and then he like walks back over. And he's like, "Where?" And I'm like, "I'll show you." Like, so I'll go and I'm like, "Look, here you go. These are the main covers. These are variant covers." Da, 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 da. And he's like, "Oh, so awesome!" And grabbed one and then left. Like, and then
you had the Absolute Batman?
Yeah, so when I walked back over, Dave was like, "One, we've had one."
He's like, "Let me amend my statement.
I was like,
we've had one."
Of course.
Yeah. The Absolute Batman, man. Did you? Where's the first issue of the Absolute Batman? I have to have it.
It was more like a South American type Spanish. I don't know if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Like yeah, not Mexico, but
yeah. Yeah, no, well, because at least here in Southern California, like the Latino population, the Latinx population, excuse me, the Latinx.
There you go. Get it right.
Yeah, I know, right? That population is like they are infatuated with like Deadpool and Venom. They just love those characters. They don't know anything about them. They just like wear them on T-shirts, and they're like, "Fucking Venom, man, he's so cool!" Like Deadpool. Deadpool is like they just love. I guess it's just like culturally, that's just like their thing. But my theater was mainly Latino, and like the gym that I go to is mainly Latino. They always have Venom and Deadpool. I don't know. I don't get it, but Salty coming in hot. He says, I bought the Jim Lee variant of Absolute Batman. Haven't gotten in the mail yet. Morbid curiosity. Well, that will bring me to my next question. But Drew, did you read Absolute Buttman?
Yeah, I read Absolute Buttman. It was okay. It's fine. You know, I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's bad. I'd say it's fine. But is it an Elseworld Batman? Absolutely. That's the only way to see this. This is not Batman. This is Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds as Batman. And it's just when you read the backstory in the book about what this quote unquote Bruce Wayne did in a short amount of time span to get to where he's at, and on top of that, changing all these jobs, on top of that, having no money to do all this, it's like, I'm calling bullshit on this. It's the cracks really start growing when you start thinking about this book. You really start thinking about the backstory of this stuff. Just do not think about it. Do not think logically about the backstory for this book, because this should just come with a statement, the asterisk saying logic is for pussies. Don't think about this because it falls apart. But it's fine as an Elseworld story. That's the only way to see this.
Yeah, it's 100% Elseworlds. If you turn your brain off and you just look at the fun action or look at the fun art, look at this quote unquote Batman not killing people at the same time, hacking off limbs left and right and blowing up bad guys as they're leaving. It's like they're not dead, and you're saying, no casualties, they're alive. Like, wait, what the fuck is this? It's like, if you're reading that and you're not laughing, there is a problem. Yeah, I will say though, the 6'7", 350-pound Buttman is kind of growing on me a little bit. Not because I like it, but just because of how absurd it is.
Yes, it's absurd.
There's a fun absurdity to that. Nick DeGrota or Dragota does a very absurd looking, 6'8", 450-pound offensive lineman Batman that's really fun to watch. So,
and that's just it. And that's what separates this quote unquote Batman from the regular universe Batman. This is over the top, ridiculous.
Whereas the story is
goddamn ridiculous. But with the regular Batman in the regular universe, it's somewhat dare I say plausible. There's a verisimilitude there to that Bruce Wayne. But this one, it's like, nope, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, we will get into more of the Absolute Batman issue on Friday, because we will go ahead and review that in like full spoilers. We'll show the comic book, like the interior pages of the book, and we'll give our full review at that point in time. But as Josh, Drew, and myself, I think, have alluded to, our take is that it's not really going to save the comic book industry. It's not really gathering new readers, but maybe pulling back old readers from the Scott Snyder Dark Knight's Metal days or Court of Owl days. But it's a lot of the same tropes, a lot of the same gimmicks, lots of gimmicks here. And that's just kind of it. And, this will have diminishing returns, I think, unfortunately, but there are some good things about it, and we'll go over more about it on Friday.
I will say Transformers has done more to bringing in new readers than Absolute Batman has. And I'm fairly certain the Transformers #1 numbers were higher than Batman #1.
Yeah, so I did read something that someone said that the 200 copies was actually of cover A and not of the or 200,000 copies was of cover A and not all the variant covers, which if so, that's pretty impressive. I don't know if that is true or not, but like you said, Drew, 150,000 copies of a Transformers issue #1, that's arguably more like impressive than Batman doing 200,000 copies, because Batman is a global brand, that
should be doing, right? Yeah, it should be doing those numbers.
Oh yeah, 200,000 should be like minimum.
Yes, but for Transformers to do that, that's a miracle.
And the interesting thing about Transformers is that like people are reading it as opposed
Yeah.
to Absolute Batman. I think people are probably just getting it just to get it for the gimmick, and then also just to say, I love Scott Snyder. Oh my god, this book is amazing. All the reviews have been like 10 out of 10 and not like 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. It's all just 10 out of 10s. 100%. It's a perfect book, and I'm like, guys, y'all need to chill
Shocking.
with the Scott Snyder like blowjobs.
So
There's
I won't be here next Friday, unfortunately, because I'll be in New York City for New York Comic Con.
Oh, that's
But
right.
I'll-
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll honestly give it maybe. It's got to be like maybe a 7. I'll give it a 7, 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that's fair. I liked it enough to where I'd give it a 6 or 7 for sure.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into our topics for this evening, I did want to share with you guys something. So, unfortunately, guys, we've been pretty comfortable here tonight, but I don't think it's fair that we're as comfortable as we are. It's just not fair, and I think we need to recognize our comfortability, and I think we should probably be a little bit aware of our privilege of when we're comfortable. And I think that this is a good video to demonstrate that. So, oh my gosh, that mouth. So let's.
Whoa! Hey.
Yeah. So I think we should just watch this kind of to start off the evening and recognize that we should be uncomfortable. All right. So here we go. This is some random woman in an airport telling all men what to do. So.
And here's a piece of advice. If you're a straight man at the airport, I want to see you in pants with some structural integrity. I don't want to see you in your comfies. That's not for you. I didn't sign up to leave the house and see you wearing joggers with a hole in it. Those things are for girls only. Please put on your jeans, khakis, J. Crew chinos. They're always on sale at the factory outlet. It's an epidemic and it's only getting worse. I've visited a lot of airports and it seems like as straight men, we're taking creative liberties that we don't need to be taking. Why do you need to be comfy? It's a sight for sore eyes. You guys want to wear the pants in society, so wear the pants everywhere in the airport. And if you can't dress appropriately, as my girl Kamala Harris says, do not come. Do not come.
Oh my God! Wow.
Oh wait, here we go. What's this? Oh, don't worry, guys. These are just all the icks that this man has collected over the years of all these TikTok videos. Don't smile, be happy. Don't be truthful. Don't tie your shoes. Don't walk downhill. Don't get cold. Don't bathe. Don't bathe. Don't have a hobby. Don't carry a bag. Don't watch football. Don't breathe. So let's see what he puts down for the last one. That's like number 647. He scrolls down. 647. Don't wear comfortable clothes. All right. Good to know. Are we enlightened, gentlemen? Do we feel like we can do that from now on? Is that fair?
Look, I've decided that if I see that chick out in public, I'll just, take the arrest and I'm going to pee on her. Like, I don't care. What? Don't wear comfy. Look, okay, I will say this. Guys, if you're not going to wear underwear, then don't wear sweats. Because,
yeah.
But other than that, fuck off, lady. Like, I can wear sweats if I usually wear athletic pants or usually I wear like athletic pants when I'm on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then like a comfy shirt and like I'll take a hoodie or something, like a zip hoodie or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this whole like girls can, guys can't, like I'm gonna kick her in the front, but like come on.
I like this when Kamala says, "Do not come," and then Trump goes, "Oh, I'm gonna come."
Have y'all seen that DJ? Have you seen the clip with the DJ that like mix that into a dance song at a wedding?
At the wedding, yeah.
And you get that one woman that's like giving him the death stare.
Yes. Oh, perfect. So good. Hashtag Team Josh. I agree. But yeah, no, I found that and I was like, man, damn, we can't do anything anymore. That's brutal. So I normally, because whenever I'm traveling, I do. Honestly, it's my normal what you guys normally see me in, which is joggers and a hoodie. That's like
Yeah.
whatever I wear on the airplane. So
Yeah, that's what I'm wearing Wednesday. That's exactly what I'm wearing.
there you go. But no, we must wear jeans or khakis and a professional business suit on the plane. Or Josh, we could be like that guy who's in the Miles Morales Spider-Man suit who wasn't wearing underwear at New York, or no, at Dallas Fan Expo.
Oh,
And
God,
you were
I'd
like,
forgotten about that.
and you were like, why is that guy wearing a ring?
I've
like,
forgotten about that.
right?
Oh,
And I was like, he had a
Jesus
ring on his
Christ.
finger, and you were like, no.
He had a cock ring on to make his
Mhm.
junk bigger while he clearly was not wearing underwear. But
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna. But that's a different rabbit hole for a different time.
Yeah. Don't like, guys. It's fine to wear underwear. It's like, or like if you don't wear underwear, like have something that does have some structural integrity, like jeans. If you don't wear underwear, like if you do go commando, at least jeans kind of maybe hide that. But yeah, if you're doing gray sweatpants, that's a full imprint.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we can't be comfortable anymore. Oh well. Dang.
You know what would have been a valid video for her to make? A valid video would have been, guys, I get that you want to be comfy on a plane, but please wear clean clothes and take a shower before you board a plane. Because I've sat next to some ripe dudes on planes before. I was like,
real stanky.
Oh.
And it doesn't help because it just bottles all of it in.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's move away from cringe and let's talk about something based as hell. Let's go to the other opposite end of the spectrum and talk about something super based, because the title of the stream is Based Kings. And let's talk about one of the most based kings of them all, Chris Pratt. Because in a world where we have Hollywood shills and Hollywood charlatans, campaigning for Kamala and saying that she's going to change the world, and that all these Hollywood actors and actresses are saying we need to be the change in the world that we want to see, and all this other utter nonsense that they talk about without any action, as they live in their billion-dollar mansions and look upon society as scum and mere plebeians as they live off their inheritance in their mansions or whatever. Chris Pratt is doing the work, man. So this is a interview with Chris Pratt, Jocko Willink, and Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy owns a foundation that is actually helping all the victims out in North Carolina right now with the current hurricane that, by the way, no other Hollywood actor is talking about. Weird that no one else is talking about this hurricane and how many lives are being lost right now. So Chris Pratt, on the set of his new movie with Jocko Willink, called in to Tim Kennedy and was like, how can we help? What can we do? How do we spread the word? How do we get the word out there? Let's talk about this, right? So I'm going to play this. This is like so inspiring. Tim Kennedy is like a true hero. Like, this guy is an absolute legend. And what they're doing in North Carolina right now is incredible. But Chris Pratt is, he is one of the leading Hollywood actors that just feels so genuine, so honest, and actually wants to help people and do something good for our country. It's such a breath of fresh air when you have all these empty-headed bimbos just Kamala. And Chris is actually like, hey, let's actually do something about, helping people and saving the country. So I'm going to play this, and here we go.
Two of my favorite men.
Hey, you too, buddy. How you doing? How you doing there, Tim?
Man, I'm tuckered out. First of all, I appreciate both of you. Jocko, I appreciate the shout out that you did. I love you both. I love everything that you do. I just kind of want to give you a brief update. Teams are still working around the clock. Just got off the phone with an American general that they're sending in helicopters. They're CH-47s, UH-60s. So even though there's been a gap of time, 6 days, where people have been kind of on their own, the momentum of people trying to make a difference is starting to swing because of people like you, Chris, and you, Jocko. So thank you, guys.
Well, thanks to you for actually being on the ground and everyone that's across America reaching out, donating money. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see America be America. That's right. Yeah, so the folks who are just jumping on, can I ask you, Tim, like, what's the reality of the situation right now?
Yeah, it's biblical level apocalyptic destruction. As I had seen pictures, but until I got on the ground a few days ago, I had no idea that entire valleys washed away. There's houses that would start being pushed down a mountain, that would hit another house, that would hit another house. At the bottom of the valley, there'd be 10 houses. Nobody knows how many people were in those houses. We still have no idea where those people are. As we're flying over, we're seeing SOS and signal mirrors. We get down to these houses, and the people in there, they've been starving and surviving by themselves for 6 days. I checked on a man that was almost 100 years old. Wife had already died. He's just fighting to survive, and no idea somebody's going to come and save him. It's just, it's heartbreaking. This is in America too. I can't describe it, man.
Who should be going out there right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Freaking America, I love you guys so much. The number of people that are reaching out, don't reach out to me. There's great organizations. Go to saveourallies.org to volunteer to donate. But specifically, nobody's going to turn you away if you have a chainsaw and a bulldozer and you get connected with the ICS, the Incident Command System, to start clearing roads. Most of these isolated people are isolated from trees and washouts. The bridges have washed out, the roads have washed out, and trees have collapsed. So they can't get to food, they can't get to water, they haven't had power in 6 days, there's no cell service. But if you're not a helicopter pilot, search and rescue, EMT, paramedic, you're not kind of labor-wise needed on the ground. We just need specialized skills right now to get food and water into very isolated places to get people out.
Got it. Well, I've always loved Save Our Allies and everything you guys have done, going back to the work that you guys did outside of Afghanistan and everything you've always done. I'm just so inspired by you, man. I love what you're doing. I love it's not about politics or anything. It's about being a strong thread in the fabric of society. And I think the people who are watching this are hopefully inspired to give in any way they can. If they can't bring specialized skills, maybe they could donate. Is that something where you could donate to Save Our Allies or any other group? And how would they go about doing that?
That's right.
So the video continues on, but like, what an absolute legend that he's asking these questions. How can people help? How can they donate? Should we get involved? What do you see on the ground? Like, these are all really important questions that are actually getting people inspired to actually do something, to go out and help this biblical level devastation. What did you guys think about the video? Had you seen that before? And what are your thoughts after seeing this about like Chris Pratt?
I mean, I've always enjoyed Chris Pratt, and I think it's interesting that a certain side of audiences thinks he's the the devil reincarnated.
Yeah.
But no, this is what I expect, and like when you look at people that are conservatives within the industry, they tend to be not well liked by that same side. But usually when stuff like this happens, they're the ones that are actually taking action, not just like, oh, I donated money. Which, look,
Right.
The money is fine, but make sure you know who you're donating it to and what it's actually being used for. I can't think of his name right now. It's James something, but I'll never forget when all the fires were going on in California, and I think there were people that were stuck in homes and animals that were stuck, like farm animals, horses and stuff. And he was like on Twitter 24/7 being like, hey, there's people at this residence. Who can we get out there to get at? Like, he just made it his mission. James Woods. Yes. Thank you, Cajun. But yeah,
Good call.
like Yeah, I mean, look, as good as this is, I think this is what community should be about. I think as people and as a nation, as neighbors, this is what we should do. And I think it's sad that we're having to do this because our government isn't stepping in the way that they should be stepping in.
Dude,
But,
it's like
he's
Yeah.
Christian. He's evil. We cannot listen to him because he's Christian. Did you guys not realize this?
Yeah,
He doesn't
yeah,
worship
yeah.
Big Pharma or the government isn't his god. We have to shun him publicly.
oh,
It doesn't
you're
matter what he
totally
says.
right, Drew. Yeah,
That's right. I
Yeah.
forgot. Whoops.
bummer.
Cancel him. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah, no, it is pretty wild that our federal government ran out of quote unquote ran out of money to help our own people, but
Yeah.
then Kamala goes, "Oh yeah, we just signed another bill to send another $100 million over to our foreign allies." And it's like, "Oh good. That'll help." So
Well, and on
wasn't
top of
that to
all this,
Lebanon of all places that wasn't that to Lebanon that they were like, oh, we just signed this?
oh no.
I'll have to double check. Don't-
Yeah.
Well, and on top of all this, apparently FEMA, they were, I guess, threatening arrests from people who had helicopters who were trying
yes,
to fly
they
in
were.
to rescue people.
were.
Which is like, are you?
Yep.
It's like, are you flipping kidding me? It's
Yep.
shocking. This bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, look, if they were there actively working to the degree that they should be working for that scale of an event, I would understand it if they're like, hey, please don't do this because you're interfering with, like us trying to get to people to, provide supplies and stuff. But they were threatening to arrest people that had their own helicopters or were using drones to find people to rescue.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't there yet. Like they had just arrived and weren't even set up and weren't doing anything. Now, if they had gotten set up and then were like, okay, we really appreciate you guys, but we're going to take it. Like, please stop so you don't, whatever cause any issues. Fine. But yeah, no.
Yeah. No, it's pretty incredible. And I love what Chris says here. He goes, I think in this portion, he's like, the people of this country, like we're the fabric of society. We are the fabric of, this community and this culture and keeping America, strong. It's not the government. It's us. It's the people, right? And it's Americans helping Americans. And that's what's beautiful. And that's what Chris is like preaching here. And that's why I'm like, he goes so unnoticed and he's such an unsung hero within Hollywood because, well, I don't want to say that because he's getting really great work. He was Mario, he was Garfield, he was Star-Lord, he was in Parks and Rec. He's had all these incredible roles. He's in all these the Amazon show, and I'm blanking on what it's the military one. But
Terminal List, Jurassic World.
Terminal List. Yes. Oh my gosh. Just incredible. So he is getting great work, but I'm just, I love what he says and I think it's fantastic. So, well, the interesting thing about this is that so many people are going to having to rescue themselves, like people like our own friends and family are having to go rescue themselves. $750 for each person is not going to get their house back. It's not going to get their car fixed. It's not going to get really anything. It may give them food for a few days, weeks, but how can they get food if all these places are destroyed, right? So what I think Chris is doing is just calling on people for action and doing it in a way that is bringing awareness to say like, hey, don't just sit there and go, oh, thoughts and prayers. Like, if you guys can do something, do something. Like, even if it's just sending like $2, $5, $10 to save our allies for Tim Kennedy, who's like on the ground, like doing this stuff. So, okay. Wait, I do genuinely want to ask this question. Could I ask which misinformation is going on? Because like, if I am misinformed on something, I would love to know just so that I can maybe speak to that, or maybe I could gain like some more insight on something that I'm not aware of. because that would help us on the stream. So I appreciate it if you can. But yeah, Zaxx said, I just stumbled into the Men for Kamala video. Oh no, is that the one with a bunch of theater people?
I don't know. You know, he had us listening to some Marsh Family band last night. And
oh no!
Of course, me being me, I decided to be a glutton for punishment and go down that rabbit hole and watch other videos from them. And I don't know.
Huh?
It's probably why I needed to take that 3.5 hour nap today.
Dude, for real, Zaxx had you up late.
Oh, I just meant that family band and the stuff.
Oh no. But Zaxx is great. We love you, Zaxx. Thank you for being in the chat, brother. Yeah, you're welcome, Josh. Zaxx keeping Josh up late. You know,
right.
you know it's it's
whenever Zaxx keeps me up late, it's always a good night.
Oh boy, worth it. So anyway, I was going to move on to our next topic, but I do want to see if I think Leo's 49. I was waiting to see if maybe you could respond and see if we could get some more insight into the situation. But if not, we can always move to the next topic. So,
well, I'm just going to comment that I love that he put so much information, which the only thing we'd shown up to this point in the stream was Home Chick in the airport and their video. And we had commented on, do we think this is a good thing? And we said yes. Like, we hadn't even gotten to details yet. They're like, you're so much misinformation. Like, listen, if you're going to come in with the misinformation, say what you think is misinformation and go from there.
Yeah.
The one thing that and I'll just throw this out there. The one thing that I hear people saying that they think is misinformation is that we're not using money for our own people and using money instead to go overseas. And people are like, well, it's two different budgets. And it is. That's not incorrect. It is two different budgets. However, we have votes where they pulled money from FEMA to be able to use in our defense budget overseas. And now because of that, we don't have the adequate funds to then provide to FEMA. So yes and no, however you want to take it. But that's the only thing I can think of that would be quote unquote misinformation. But the other thing that's causing the big issue here, and it was mentioned like kind of briefly, part of the problem is that these roads are washed out, and it's not these like little country roads. You have actual freeways where part of the freeway has completely like collapsed. It's almost like a sinkhole.
Well, so towns are gone. Towns are just absolutely gone. It's terrifying.
And the other aspect of this that I don't think has like the connection has been made completely is, you had the devastation of the hurricane and the rain and the flooding and everything, but the towns that are just below the mountains, like all that water is coming down. So for them, they are complete. Like that's where you're seeing all these houses floating away and stuff, and it's sad. Yeah. But
dude, I mean, when Tim Kennedy says biblical level devastation, like believe it. Like him and his dudes at Save Our Allies are doing incredible work, and they're the ones who have eyes on the ground. Like these guys have not gotten sleep in weeks because they're helping people out. So, and I think what we're trying to say on this stream is that's a good thing. That's what we want to do. Like that's as Americans what we should do. Why is it that America is one of the only places that I can think of that like whenever something like this happens, Americans are very apt to lend a helping hand, even when it's not our own country. When it's someone else who's dealing with something, America is one of the first places to go, what do you need? What can we help you with? Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. And I love that about our country. But right now, we need to be a little bit more focused on our own people to save them. And the cool thing about that is that Chris Pratt is helping with that. So
yeah, between Florida and North Carolina, it's insane. Between almost. Oof.
Yeah. And JD Petty put, I used to drive I-40 west to travel to and from where I used to live. It's gone in West North Carolina. I've got friends that live in North Carolina. I have friends that live in North Carolina, and they were there and posted pictures of their own, camera posting pictures of that. It's one whole side of the freeway is just like gone for a portion. It's wild.
That is insane. Oh, that's heartbreaking. So
I've got a uncle. He lives in North Carolina. He's got property up in the mountains. Fortunately, because he lives up high enough, it avoided him. You know, he got lucky. So
Yeah.
But getting down from there, we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, we're praying that everyone that the people who can be found are found and saved, and that we can help them as much as possible, whether it's North Carolina or Florida. But yeah, all that being said, I think Chris Pratt is doing an awesome thing here, and it's very rare to see a Hollywood actor use his platform, because we like all these actors always use their platform for like activism, right? For all of these different, this cause or that cause. And
White guys
some
for
of them,
Kamala.
yeah. Wait, Drew, you didn't say it right. It's Kamala. Okay.
Oh, Kamala.
So get it right. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so all these different like causes and activist groups and whatnot, one of which turned out to be a massive scam. Whereas I feel like Chris Pratt is like, hey, let's believe in our country, let's believe in each other as Americans, and let's help these people in North Carolina. And you get people like Leo's who are saying like that's a bad thing, or like, no, you shouldn't go do that, or why are you doing that? And it's just like, come on, man, like Chris Pratt's like genuinely trying to do something good. But now this is your opinion, Leo's, but you still haven't mentioned the misinformation that we were speaking of earlier. So if you could let us know, please do, because like I said, I want to be as accurate as possible. I want to make sure I'm being informed and insightful on this topic. So just let us know. But and Josh, you're gay, right?
I am.
Did the evangelist tell you that
they hate me, that God hates gay people?
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few that I've heard in my lifetime, but I've also had plenty that go like a sin's a sin. There are some that don't even think it's a sin, but that, again, way longer topic for another time that goes into translations and going back to the original Greek and Aramaic translations of the Bible. We could get into all that, but no, the only person that I see spewing hate right now is Leo's. So
yeah, that's what I see. So
listen,
MG also says,
if this happened in East Texas where I live, I can promise you this: it doesn't matter what political sign you have in your yard, people are going to help each other out. So
yeah, at least I would.
Okay, I'm sorry, Lab. Yeah,
I mean, Drew, I told you better get it right. It's comma law.
Listen, and I'm going to throw this out there. I say,
I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'm going to say this, and it's just, I mean it with 100% sincerity. I say Kamala a lot, but it's not me trying to be douchey or anti-Kamala Harris. I say Kamala a lot because most of what I discuss are comic books, and one of the big characters of the past few years is who? Kamala Khan.
Kamala Khan, right?
Yeah, and I'm saying this as someone that lived in California with Kamala serving the state. It's not even me trying to be a douchebag. It's me being like, oh shit, it is Kamala, not Kamala. I really don't care.
Yeah, but even when she was vice president, it was always
Kamala. When she still is, Max.
Oh god, who's running our country? wait a second. Wait, who's running our country? But yeah, no, that's like even when I guess she was running for vice president. And
even though she's been the vice president for the last 4 years, she's still going to make things better. It's going to get better.
Yes.
Yeah. And all I'm going to say to Leo's is you're coming in making accusations and allegations and doing name calling. And one of these people on the panel is actually one of the nicest people you would ever meet. I'm not going to say who. It's not me. But
not
definitely not racist. And the fact that you can't even come in and you have someone that gracefully in good faith says, hey, if there is something that's wrong, let us know, because I've come in and told him he's wrong with stuff before and he corrected himself, that he's genuinely asking. But the fact that you can't come back with any actual information and you just come back with name calling tells me how little you view yourself and how little you actually have to offer this world. So fuck off.
Now, if he was talking about my brother Kyle, he has a point.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So, but Zaxx, best moderator. He's the best moderator. Everyone tells me he's the best. But yeah, no, Zaxx is awesome. Thank you, Zaxx. I appreciate your your support in all of these different channels, man. And it was such a great time getting to spend Josh's birthday to hang out with you that other night. So
Yeah,
it was awesome. But yeah, no, I think guys, I mean, the fact that he can hear the racism in our voice, it's pretty apparent. We should probably tone down the rhetoric, I guess. Right?
Tone down. We should start washing feet in forgiveness and taking a knee and begging
I'll have
for
to go.
forgiveness.
I'm gonna go ask my black brother if he thinks I'm racist. How about that?
How can you? I'm curious now. How can you hear racism? Like you can hear racism in terms of like if someone says something racist.
I don't even have a southern accent,
tone?
so yeah, I don't know.
Oh, maybe that is a like if it's like, hey there, boy, what are you doing there, boy? Maybe it's the tone that seems like, oh, that's super racist. So
I would have just said white trash, but okay,
that too. Should we also talk about another based king?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not Leo's. That's not the other based king. But the other based king is the new Mr. Olympia, or not the new, but the still classic Olympia winner, Christopher Bumstead, otherwise known as C-Bum. So the Mr. Olympia was this past weekend. My other hobby that I really love is bodybuilding and physique, fitness, classic bodybuilding and stuff like that. Chris Bumstead has won the title now. This is his 6th title win for winning the entire Mr. Olympia for the classic physique section. Chris is an absolute monster. Like, he has created a legacy within the classic physique genre of bodybuilding. He's got over like 2.5 million subscribers or followers on Instagram. He is like what every man wants to be and what every woman wants to be with. The dude is only 29 years old, just had a little baby girl with his wife, and he just retired this year. He retired from bodybuilding. He will still keep like his other businesses and will still makes millions of dollars based off of his sponsorships. But Chris Bumstead has got to be one of the greats of bodybuilding of all time. And here, I'll play the video. This was his posing routine.
6 years in a row he's won.
6 years in a row he's won the Mr. Olympia title. Yep.
So what's the record?
Was his 6th. I think the record is 7.
And he stops. Go for the record. Come on, you gotta stop at 6. Come on.
Well, 7 was for open bodybuilding. So the open section of bodybuilding is the guys who are just like 400 pounds. Like, they look almost unhealthy because of how big they are. Classic physique, I think Arnold had 7, maybe. I'm not sure. Wow. So, but the reason why Chris has retired now after 6 consecutive wins as the Mr. Olympia, he retired and he said he wants to start a family. He wants to focus on his family. He wants to, be a good dad to his daughter and a good husband to his wife. He's created a legacy with his posing, with his bodybuilding career. And he's like, I'm ready to be a dad now. I'm ready to be a father and to, continue to support my family. I mean, if that's not one of the coolest things I've ever heard, that's pretty awesome. Because like you said, Drew, he could continue. He's in the best shape of his life. He's at the peak of his conditioning. And he's like, you know what? I want to focus on my family right now. So he could have probably gone on for maybe 7 or 8 other wins, but he stopped at 6 and he said, this is it for me. So now I still do think that we will see him in other aspects of bodybuilding and fitness and YouTube and all this great stuff. But in terms of his competitive career on stage, I think this will be his final year. So
yeah, I could see him doing a more plates, more dates type YouTube channel or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Zaxx, this is pretty funny. But Dominic says, "Hi Max, Josh, and Drew. I missed you guys on Saturday." Oh, well, we missed you too, Dominic. But we are here now, and thanks for being here, brother. Yeah, this is absolutely dudes posting their W's for sure. And MG, now men typically continue to work or maybe take on more jobs in order to support and raise their family. But Chris Bumstead has enough money to retire like 10 times over. He's pretty good when it comes to like sponsorships, gyms, um, clothing, like branding, all that stuff. Chris is he's good. He doesn't need any he doesn't need to work for the rest of his life.
Well,
And he's 29. That's crazy.
Also, and this isn't me like being a dick or anything, but part of the reason that he's probably stopping is the fact that he wants to have a family. He's probably got to stop taking some of the stuff he's taking.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
So,
Like, if
it
he
will
genuinely,
like won't your sperm count.
yes, and if he legitimately wants to be healthy into his 50s and 60s and like live a longer lifestyle and healthier lifestyle, he should stop the gear. Like, he should probably start weaning himself off of the gear. So we'll see. But yeah, that's definitely a huge health for him. I think is a main factor as well for just saying like, yeah, I could push more gear, because what a lot of bodybuilder fans want him to do right now is they actually want him to, now that he's won the Classic Olympia for 6 times in a row, they now want him to do the Open Olympia, which is the larger, it's like what are called the mass monsters, the freaks. These are the guys who are like 300 pounds, and they want him to do that, but he would have to push so much more gear, so much more food. It would be insane. So I honestly think he's better off, ending his career on a win, on a high note, getting healthy, raising a family, and living life.
How
going out
old
on
is
top?
he?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
I said, how old is he?
29.
Okay, yeah, it's good. It's a good year.
Yeah, dude, he's young as hell.
Yeah, going out on top. Yeah, that's one way to do it. Just so good for him. That's
right.
Yeah, there's not, you cannot knock him for that. It's outside of keep going, you got this. But it's just like, hey, he's going out on top.
Yeah, and not only that, but a while ago when we had the first attempt at Donald Trump's life, C-Bum, another reason why he's super based, he posted on X and he said, imagine shooting a man with your last bullet and he stands there unfazed. And then he posted this picture. So I think C-Bum is technically, or not technically, but I think he's secretly, I think he's down for.
You mean
for this
Bumstead?
campaign. Yeah, C-Bum.
Bumstead?
What'd I say?
You said C-Bum.
C-Bum.
C-Bum's the
C-Bum.
football player.
Oh no, C-Bum, because he also calls himself C-Bum.
Oh,
So
wait?
is there a C-Bum football player?
Isn't there?
Maybe.
I haven't heard that one.
But yeah, Bumstead, he posted that. He doesn't have a Twitter anymore. I think he got rid of it. But it was pretty impressive that I was like, wow, the fact that he's talking about this is that's surprising. I would have never guessed. Never guessed. So, but yeah. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool. This guy who's ending his career a little bit early so that he can finish, or not finish, but start working on his family, and someone who's also kind of supporting this campaign. But yeah. So those are our based kings this evening. Now let's get into something not so based. Josh, I'll let you kind of take this one a little bit. So recently there was an article that talked about Captain America 4, Brave New World, reportedly awful after test screening. But being reportedly awful, is this coming from a pooper scooper? Is this just coming from a nobody? Where are we getting this information?
Look, I'm going to start off with, if the fact that this film is awful really is the case, I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, it's getting the same treatment that the last couple of films have had, to wound up being a total piece of shit. However, this information is coming from My Time to Shine Hello, which is just a pooper scooper, but not even a good one. Like 99% of what they say isn't accurate. This is the same person that said Mila Kunis is gonna be the thing. This is the same person. Yeah. Yeah. This is the same person that said Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. was going to be in Multiverse of Madness, and then said no, it's going to be Tom Cruise. Like, this is that person that started all that shit.
Wow.
So like, you could go if you just Google My Time to Shine Hello, most of the articles are like, please stop listening to this person. And there is some credibility to some of the things that they post. And that stems from they have access somehow to concept art. Like, they'll get concept art kind of early stages, and however they get access to that, fine. But they've now monetized themselves through Twitter, through X, so they're posting just all sorts of shit. But they also, and I wish I could remember what film it was, but they also did this for a film and said the audience screenings or the early screenings were coming back really negative, and then the studio came back and was like, "This is bullshit. We haven't even held any screenings."
Damn, called them out.
Yeah, like just like, okay,
good for them.
Yeah.
So a grain of salt would be too big.
Probably.
Like we're talking a grain of sand, like a monicum of an atom of a grain of sand.
This is one of those things where you could kind of be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I think anyone could put 2 and 2 together and say there's a good chance this film isn't gonna be very good.
Sure, yeah.
For a number of reasons, namely the fact that they spent 5 months doing reshoots, and that's roughly about how much time they spent filming the original film anyways. So
that was just one round of reshoots.
Multiple, yeah. Cool. Yeah. But anytime My Time to Shine Hello posts anything, it's a female, it's a chick. I'm just like, okay, sure. And actually, I'll take this back to my own show, because back when they were, before the whole Mila Kunis thing, when they first were announcing, like, here's the 4 people cast as the Fantastic Four, and it was all like, what's his name from Star Wars, and Margot Robbie and all that, I was like, hey, they're saying this is it, they're saying that's whatever. And I don't know if Drew remembers this, but I went through and said, point blank, I heard they offered Margot Robbie the role, but I was told she turned it down. And then, like, a month and a half to 2 months later, guess what came out? Oh, none of those people were actually on the Fantastic Four. Margot Robbie turned the role down. And I had said 2 months prior to that, it's going to be, what's her name, who it actually is. So I'm just gonna put that out there.
Damn, maybe you should be a pooper scooper, Josh.
I don't want to be a pooper scooper. I'll pooper scoop
but you actually have like good, accurate information.
Sometimes, I mean, things change. Yeah, and I'll say that to some of the scoopers out there. Things change, but yeah, I don't trust My Time to Shine Hello to save my life.
Yeah, especially because it says the article so the article comes from that Park Place. It says this rumor comes from Scooper. So they actually did use Scooper. My Time to Shine Hello on X. He wrote, just heard back from like 3 people who went to see Captain America Brave New World test screening, and woof, movie sounds awful. Oh, so she's saying the movie sounds awful after hearing what
from
the
3 friends.
People.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, which is even one farther removed from the people saying this was awful. She's like, oh, I heard what they said and it sounds awful. So
yeah, so like my cousin, her friend's ex-boyfriend said this movie's so bad.
So my uncle's twice removed cousin-in-law, their dog was upset at this movie. So Now, to be fair, Jamin and MG are most likely right, and you are also right, Josh.
Agreed.
The fact that it's not hard for us to guess that this movie isn't going to be great, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to suck the worst? Is this going to be the worst Marvel movie ever in existence? Who knows? But is there a pretty good chance that it's going to be fine, mid, maybe.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, Dominic's mentioning Giancarlo Esposito, and
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being some of the best scenes in the film.
Okay.
Because it's the
All right.
stuff they came in like way last minute to be like, all
Yeah.
right, this character got added. We're doing this. We're cutting this. But I like Anthony Mackie. I don't think he's a leading man, unfortunately.
No.
And
Now, sorry. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, like, in addition to that, he's then trying to fill Chris Evans, boots as Captain America, which doesn't really work. And now you have Harrison Ford in here, who is like, just, I hate to say ruined, but he's kind of ruined the last few things that he's done that were big blockbusters. So
Yeah. Now, let me ask you gentlemen this. I agree that Anthony Mackie, I don't think is a leading man. However, I think he works really well as a character actor, and I like him better in supporting roles.
agreed.
Now,
Yeah.
do we think that Bucky, the actor of Bucky, do we think that he could carry the movie as a leading man?
Absolutely.
And I think so. I think so as well. I agree. I think he has enough emotional depth there. After you watch Civil War, you can I can definitively say I would watch an entire movie with just Bucky.
Well, not just that. I think the fans of the Marvel of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they would love to see that redemption arc of him putting on the Captain America suit after everything that he's done. It feels like that's the turn that should have been made.
Drew, he is getting his redemption arc. It's in Thunderbolts as a senator, and he's got a muffin top now.
He's
right. And his arm is in the dishwasher. I forgot
That's
about
right.
that. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny, guys. No, he's got the Lloyd Christmas bowl cut. That's what he has.
God, yeah.
It's not a mop top. So yeah. Bucky could carry a movie. Yeah, right. MG says Bucky can carry a movie. His character has the build up, and the actor can do it. And Jamin says I completely agree. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that the actor for Bucky could definitely do it. And I think the problem here though is, and I think Drew, you kind of alluded to this because you were like, the fans would love the payoff of seeing Bucky in the suit, right? But the problem is that once they've given it to Falcon, to Sam Wilson Falcon, to give it then, and this is just DEI, this is just identity politics, right? Once you give it to Falcon, Sam Wilson, you cannot then give it back to a white man. You just can't, by the laws of DEI, you just can't do that. Now, is there any validity there, or do you guys think that I'm just blowing crap on my butt?
No, I think you're wrong. I think you can give it back to a white guy. Okay. But it's got to be Captain America of the Railroads. It's got to be the gay twink.
Oh,
yeah. The guy, the one who likes riding the rails.
Yeah, I like to ride the rails.
Ride those rails. Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, yeah. I thought you were actually going to say, Josh, yeah, you give it back to Steve Rogers. But then you're like, oh no, you give it to the gay one. And I was like, oh my God. But you almost would have to then give it to the more oppressed minority, right? Isn't that how how that works?
I don't want to say that because I hate gays saying they're oppressed. Like, grow up. Stop complaining.
When you have fisting
in the streets
or celebrating parades, I think you're good. I think you're doing all right in life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So speaking of reshoots, the other article I was going to talk about is Captain America 4 gets worrying update that raises red flag about new movie's quality. So this, I think, may have a little bit more validity to it, or a little bit more weight, because the other one is just a pooper scooper, right? But this one has a little bit more information on what is going on with the actual production. It says Cap 4's latest production update signals the Marvel Studios isn't fully confident with the entirety of the film in its current state. Following Deadpool and Wolverine, Captain America 4 is set to be the first of 4 MCU movies hitting theaters in 2025. Wait, 4 films are hitting in 2025? Or like 2 are hitting in 2025, and then the other 2 in 2026.
No, 4 in 2025.
What? I know Cap, Fantastic Four. What else?
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
And, shoot, what else is there?
Ironheart? No, that's a show, right?
Show, yeah.
What's the
Hold
fourth
on.
one?
I gotta look it up. Hold on.
Is
Hold
it
on.
another? Oh, is it a Spidey movie?
No, I don't think it's Steve Spiderman.
All the way, all the way home from no way home from where homecoming
homeward bound.
No way home to homeward bound. Homecoming. Yeah. Dude, that's wild. 4 movies in 1 year. So 1 per quarter.
Pretty much.
No, like, hey, YouTubers, if y'all follow MCU stuff, start looking at things you want to buy, like for the house. Like, start looking at investments that you can make. Because 4 movies in 1 year.
It's gonna be 3. It's gonna be 3.
Okay, I was gonna say there's no way.
Because you know what the 4th movie is supposed to be? It's supposed to be Blade. That currently doesn't have a director.
Oh yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening.
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's going to get canceled. I don't think they're going to be making that.
No way, man. I think they still have to go through with it. I don't know, Josh. What do you think? So Drew thinks it'll get canceled. I think they have wasted too many people's time with too much money. I genuinely think Mahershala Ali wants to do it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times been wasted. He's reaching 50 if he's not 50 already, though. That's the bad thing.
He was 50 when he announced it.
Oh no.
So I think the thing is, the weird thing is, from what I understand, the story's locked. They're happy with the script for now. What they're trying to do is just get a director, and that someone they were talking to has now backed out again. But there's also there's conflicting reports on that, because a couple months back it was kind of like leaked to the chats to Helsky's doing Blade, which I would 100% support.
Go see. Yeah.
But nothing official has come out. But even Stahelski stated, like, if he's doing MCU, he wants Blade. So part of me wonders if they're just like waiting to reveal this at a certain point. We'll see. But it's weird.
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 So Jamin says, if you guys, or if he didn't pick up the mantle, I'm thinking like Falcon, I guess, and it was Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they both team up, would it have been more beneficial? I think that's what you're asking, Jamin, right? Just wondering, but you think if he didn't pick up Cap, Mantle, and this was Falcon and Winter Soldier movie, where they both team up, like, are you talking about Steve Rogers and Bucky, and it's like a Ed Brubaker Winter Soldier story? I would love that, but if they're, oh no, he's saying Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that I think Falcon and Winter Soldier would have worked better as a film than a little limited series.
Yeah.
I also think it got its legs cut out from under it with the whole virus storyline. And then just the bad political writing towards the end. But
you got to do better, Josh.
Well, that and the whole fact that they're like, don't call them terrorists when they're very clearly terrorists that are bombing innocent people.
And Falcon is like holding her in his arms like she's this martyr, and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe
she fucking killed people."
Yeah,
it's like treating her like she was the victim, and Sharon, and not Sharon, the granddaughter as like she was the bad guy. Like, what backwards Twilight Zone world are we in now? This is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think even narratively, the trajectory of Bucky in the MCU leading up to Avengers Endgame, it made more sense for Bucky to take the mantle over Falcon.
Absolutely.
But, and this is going to be controversial, I would have been okay if they even both took the mantle of Captain America. I would have, so, but I would have gone the route of like, hey, I do think it would have been interesting if they kept the route of like, yeah, you can be Captain America, but you work for the U.S. government now. I would have taken that.
So like Falcon maybe works for the U.S. government and Bucky's like going rogue or something, or vice versa.
No, I think the government saying like, if you're going to be Captain America, you work for us. To both.
Interesting.
But because I think no matter what, you would have had people pissed off regardless. I think you had the fanboys that were upset because Bucky made more sense, and then you would have general audiences like, "Oh, you didn't give us the black guy." So,
well, I mean, no one would have been happy either, or there are going to be people who weren't happy either way, like you said, Josh. But
yeah, you can't please everyone.
narratively,
no,
Right.
I know.
but yeah,
I get
narratively,
it.
you're right. It totally makes sense for Bucky to keep it or to take on the mantle. Like, yeah. Now, even my friends who aren't involved in like culture war stuff, at the end of Endgame, even they came to me and they were like, "Hey, so why did Sam get the shield just because they literally wanted like the black guy to have it?" And I was like, "Wow." So these were like normies who aren't involved with that stuff, and even they were like, "That didn't feel right. That was weird. Like I don't understand why they did that." So because there had been nothing that really, like you said, narratively had led up to that point. So
Right.
oh well. But yeah, the article continues to say the movie officially started reshoots scheduled ahead of the film's February 14, 2025 release date. A post from Atlanta Filming on Instagram confirmed this update with vague pictures from the set, but it also included the caption, "Here's Cap 4 Day 1 of many." The power of many. Additionally, the account responded to a question about this being the second reshoot for the film, indicating it was reshoot 1 and calling it the first day of the first set of reshoots. Oh my lord. The Hollywood Reporter later in its Heat Vision newsletter clarified that the reshoots would span a substantial 22 days. Yeah, imagine how tired you would be if like they're like, yeah, this is reshoot 1 of 2. Or like this is
not
just yeah.
Well, not just that, Max, but I was hearing that they were filming scenes without a finished script. They were filming action sequences without a script. So I don't know how true that is, but if they were, this is going to be an interesting movie.
Yeah, that's the same mistake that they had with the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, they were taking.
And then, I mean, like filming reshoots has greatly hindered Multiverse of Madness, Quantum Mania, Thor, Love and Thunder, Secret Wars. Secret Wars probably got Secret Invasion. Sorry, Secret Invasion probably got the worst of it out of all the projects. What I will say is, based on the timing of this, the reason they're doing reshoots is because the brothers came back in. Because they stepped in, they got signed on as producers for this around this time. It was right before Comic-Con, and then they got announced for directing the next two. So maybe these reshoots that they're doing will be a good thing to try to salvage some of it, but we'll see.
What movie would you guys go watch and be happy about?
What do you mean?
Like for Cap 4, what would be like if they were in talks of doing Cap 4 and it was going to be released in February? What would get you guys to have your butts put in the seats and you're like, I'm excited for this? Like legitimately,
Bucky as Cap versus the Serpent Society.
Say that again. Bucky versus the what society?
Bucky as Captain America versus the Serpent Society.
That's kind of what we're getting, ish.
But yeah, I heard that they excised, but they excised the Serpent Society.
Yeah, but you have Esposito's playing Sidewinder or whatever his name is from the Serpent Society. I don't know. It's all a name only. I'm gonna stick with my comment that Falcon and Winter Soldier should have been a film.
Yeah,
and I think it should have been
by the
a
Russo
film.
brothers.
I mean, if they were willing to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
The direction wasn't necessarily the problem with that. I can't remember who directed that series. The direction was, I was fine with the direction. What I didn't care for was the writing, especially towards the end. But a lot of the kind of points that they hit, I didn't mind some of the storytelling plots of that. Like Bucky gets a nice little like story arc through that, but I wish it would have been impacted more with a tighter story. I don't mind the idea of the flag smashers, but they should have just been labeled terrorists. I mean, you could try to give as much insight into why they're doing what they're doing, but the fact that you don't call them terrorists when they're very clearly terrorists was a mistake. I would have been fine with introducing Sharon as the power broker and have that reveal at the very end. Like all that stuff I would have been fine with. Wakanda coming in, fine with it. Baron Zemo, fine with him. Actually, he was my favorite part of the whole show.
When he's dancing?
But just make it tighter. And if you want to bring in, what's his name as General Ross, fine. That's cool. There's your film right there. But, you know.
Well, I've got a question. I've got another question for you guys. This is a good question coming from our boy, Jamin D. He says, do we really need a new Captain America mantle? Can't there just be a Falcon and Winter Soldier in story and it just goes from there? What do you guys think? Like if Steve Rogers retires the mantle and he says, y'all don't need to be Captain America. Like the Avengers don't need a Cap, but they do need a Falcon and Winter Soldier. And they just retain their titles. Do we think that the Marvel Cinematic Universe needs a Captain America and that the Avengers needs a Captain America? I don't know.
I'm okay with there being a like pass down because Steve's not here. Like,
yeah,
because that's what happened in the comic books. You know, after Steve disappeared, they handed it off to someone else. Of course, that guy and the sidekick, they went nuts. They went crazy because the serum didn't work with them. They could do that. They could do something like that. It makes sense.
Yeah. But I wish it would have been ultimately Bucky getting the shield, even based on his story arc in Falcon and Winter Soldier, because his thing was he didn't feel like he deserved it. So he's putting the idea of Captain America and what that represents and stands for on this mantle, on this pedestal, that he thinks he's not worthy of as a human being. But if you had him at the end realize that symbol is more powerful than what I can do on my own as Winter Soldier, and then he decides to take it and try his best to live up to that mantle, I think you would have had audiences like rooting for him. We want to see him succeed. Like, you know, that's my personal opinion.
And yeah, could you imagine I think the great storytelling they would potentially have the opportunity to tell of a world that pretty much hates Bucky at this point, right? They deem him a terrorist. They think that he is a terrorist after the events of like Civil War and things like that. And so you have this man who has been tarnished, like his reputation is tarnished. And so he has to be in the good graces of the country because as he picks up this mantle, people are going to hate him for that. And they're going to go, you are not, he's not my Captain America, right? And now he has to live up to that. He has to say, with the values that Steve instilled in me, I have to now live up to that. And I'm going to try and do that the very best I can.
Yeah, so he's been cleared by this point. Like by the time of Falcon and Winter Soldier, he's been cleared of the crimes. But you're still going to have audience perception, and you're going to still have those people that, you know, they made up their mind already. Yeah. So it's like we have now, you know. I mean, when you look at anything political right now, a lot of people won't even be open to listening or reviewing information or facts because they've just made up their mind that blank is their reality.
Yeah. Yeah, so when all the boys are getting shot at during World War III, we can thank all the people who have already made up their minds on voting for a certain candidate. So, yay! Anyway, next on the list, I'm going to tell you, gentlemen, a story in 2 articles. You ready for this? So here, oops. Joker, Folie et Dieu, has a message for fans. Go fuck yourselves. The next article, box office report, Joker 2 suffers historic fall as Terrifier 3 lands on top. And Folie à Dieu minus 81% has displaced the Marvels for the record of the biggest second weekend drop for any superhero film at the box office. So, Warner Brothers, good job. Good job, there. You guys, you did it. You did it, Warner Brothers. Good job. Congratulations. Yeah. Folie à Dieu to you, because that is one of the wildest stories told in 2 to 3 articles I've ever read. The fact that this was even made, the fact that this was even a conversation. This is now, before anyone gets on my case, I will 100% say I have not seen this movie, nor will I go see this movie. It's clearly not something that I would want to even spend my time with, because I love the first film so much that I can just, in my own headcanon, just imagine it as just its own little thing, and that nothing ever happened afterwards. Just like they never made another Crow film, right? So, but yeah, what do you guys think about the outcome of, not only did Joker open to one of the lowest box offices for a superhero film, we're talking like Morbius level, right? Of a box office opening. That not only was it super low, but it also had the lowest second weekend drop. I didn't think that it was going to do this poorly. And the fact that this was also, like, the budget for this was an exorbitant amount.
200 million, over 200
Yeah.
million cost.
Like the amount that they paid Lady Gaga, Joaquin Phoenix, and the director Todd Phillips was the budget of the first film. That's how bad this budget was. Is they paid those 3 people the same budget that they made with the first Joker film. Oof.
And it's still, I guarantee you, it's still going to be underplayed, like how cataclysmically bad the Marvels was budget wise, and how badly that failed at the box office.
Yeah.
81% is a goddamn catastrophe. That is plane crash against the mountain catastrophe. And they are underselling this, how bad that is. That is, like I said, it's record breaking. That is insane. No one would ever think that would happen.
Especially not after how well, because when you think about the collapse, like when you think about the first Joker film making $1 billion, that's insane to think that this movie hasn't even touched like a molecule of that to make back any money. Yeah.
And the fact, I'm basking in the sheer fact that Terrifier 3, that a film that was made for, I think, $2 million, made $15 million on its opening weekend, which is insane. And what's crazy about so I am new to the Terrifier films. I watched the first 2, and they're fun for what they are. They're graphic horror films, and I love them. They're great. But each one has progressively gotten bigger box office returns, which is nuts. Like the second film was made for 250,000 or whatever, and it made like 5 million, 10 million. It's insane.
Oh my God.
How much? Yeah, it's insane. Look at the returns in the second one. But the third one, holy crap. It's like there is something special here, and they know what they're doing. They know what they're making. They're staying true to it. They're not going back and like saying like in the third film, oh yeah, you're a pig if you like this first film. You're wrong if you liked it. No, they are bringing in the fans. We're giving you more of what you want, and that's what you want. And the Joker 2, they were just, I hate to say it, but it was more or less an FU to the fans of the first film. If you thought what that Joker was doing was good and right, if you enjoyed that, nope, you're wrong. No, that was all incorrect. You shouldn't have.
Yeah. Now, Drew, what's the name of the clown in Terrifier?
Art the Clown.
Art the Clown. He is an icon. Like, I love the makeup that they do for him. I love the face that he makes. I've watched the first Terrifier and loved it. It is so unsettling and off-putting and just like it just makes your skin crawl.
And that's
I
what you want
loved
from a
it
horror
for
film,
that.
and they do a
Oh,
great
yeah.
job with that.
And they do it great, and they play to the strengths, right? And it's super low budget, but that's why it's kind of great. But I don't know about you. I know you're a big horror guy, Drew, but I see Art the Clown being amongst the ranks of a Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Jigsaw. Like, I think he's standing up there with the rest of them. Yeah.
Oh, 110%. I mean, as after watching those films and just seeing the numbers do not lie. If you pull them up, Max, the numbers are getting more and more huge with each of these films. It's stupid how much money these films are making, and there is a franchise, massive franchise on their hands here with this film. And honestly, it's to the point. It's kind of like a Joker film where so you make that much money, yeah, you need to make a sequel. And if your budget is $2 million and you make $15 million in the opening weekend, yeah, you're making another one. I'm sorry, that's how it works. And honestly, I want to see more Art the Clown, and I didn't get a chance to see it this weekend. I went to go see that Saturday night movie, but the first Saturday Night Live, the opening that came out, it was actually really damn good. But I am going to see Terrifier 3 tomorrow. I do plan on seeing that because I am all in on this franchise.
All in, baby. Well, you're all in on Terrifier, but not on DC's All In initiative.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm not all in on it. No, well, unfortunately, I cannot be. But Terrifier, yeah, this director, the writer, they are giving the fans what they want, and I got to give them. I'll gladly give them my money for that. And they're not telling me to go fuck myself. So yeah, get my money.
That's a good thing. I'm interested to see if because they're already on the third Terrifier film. Are we going to see like Terrifier versus Jason, or some you've got Freddy versus Jason, you've got Alien versus Predator. Is there someone who can go up against Art the Clown, or do you think they're just going to keep doing Terrifier installments like Terrifier 4, Terrifier 5?
If they're making this much money on their own, they're great staying in their own lane. That's the way it is. I mean, Jason franchise, they need Art the Clown. Freddy needs
that's a good point. Yeah. Evil dies tonight.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, that's Michael Myers. I'm sorry.
Oh God.
But that's another one that's like so bad. Like no one's watching those movies anymore. So
no, I tried rewatching those last two, but you can't watch it without laughing out loud. It's rough.
No. So Soul Assassin says this Joker was a cash grab. Everybody called it for what it was. And that is why I find this hilarious. Why this is actually kind of a little bit of it's a bit ironic that you have this film that was meant to be the second version of the $1 billion hit, and it didn't even get close to that because they were trying to make it that, right? Whereas the first one was just like, I have a story to tell and I want to tell it, right? At least that's what I felt like Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix were doing. Now, they did have to put the Joker moniker on there in order to gain the attraction of mainstream audiences. Right. However, $1 billion is still pretty damn good. So I don't know.
Yeah. Part of the problem too, and again, I haven't seen this. I probably will watch it when it comes on streaming. But there's conversations about how part of the reason it's flopping and people aren't responding to it is Phillips kind of abandoned what the point of the original film was, which was like a lack of empathy in the world that kind of creates people to act this way because they feel so, that's their only way of getting out. But I don't know. It seems like, there's articles that have been published previously about how Todd Phillips felt like people were taking the wrong message from the original film. So part of the reason he went so much of a hard left turn here is to try to course correct, I guess. But clearly it's like, if it worked, then don't change it, You've also got the
Right.
articles about how he rejected anything from DC trying to help with the film.
Oh,
And like he quote wanted nothing to do with them. And they
wow.
weren't allowed to come in. And it's, like, look, say what you will, but at least someone from DC probably would have come in and been like, hey, if you stray too far from who, like, even Harley Quinn is supposed to be, people probably aren't going to respond well. Because apparently she's just a groupie named Lee. That's Lady Gaga's character. She's like a sycophant named Lee that thinks, So I don't know, man. And the musical thing was a weird. I'd be curious to see how much of it's a musical. Because I remember at the beginning there were talks of like, oh no, it's because they're in therapy and they're using like musical therapy, which makes sense. I could see that. Sense. But I don't know. It seems like it's a lot of
singing
really
badly.
Weird choices.
They're singing badly. It's terrible.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So, another show is guilty of doing that right now too, and that's Agatha All Along.
Oh no.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a musical, have people that can sing well. Just throw. Oh, we'll get Lady Gaga can sing well, but I think the thing was they didn't want her to sing well. Like I think they wanted her to sound like a normal person. But that, and again, where if you were just done like this is kind of in their head because they're crazy, and this was musical therapy, you could have had them perform well. I don't know if Joaquin Phoenix can sing, but it was just a lot of bad.
He was a rapper. He was a professional rapper for a brief period of time. Do you remember that?
Oh,
I don't remember that.
I memory hold that, so I just always remember him as the Emperor in Gladiator. So, Dylan Lindsay for $5. What's happening, brother? Thank you so much for the 5. He says, you need a mix of studio and director control. I've seen too many movies that go off the rails because directors have no oversight. See Halloween Ends. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Yeah, so Dylan, I 100% agree with this. And the perfect proof of this are the Lord of the Rings appendices. There is maybe 12 extra hours of behind the scenes footage from the Lord of the Rings. And I watch it every single year, right around the holiday season in December. I rewatch the extended versions and then I watch the appendices. And one of the things that they continually talk about is how closely they worked with the oversight coming from New Line Cinemas and the producers, and then Jackson working with the actors, working with the writers, working with everyone, the costume designers, to make this thing come to life, work within the budget, and make sure that everything was out on time. It's a lightning in a bottle. It's a beautiful masterpiece. And if anyone wants to look at how to do that balance, play that game between studio and director or studio and creator, I think that's a perfect image of that. Josh and Drew, do you guys have any examples of where you've seen a good example of studio control or studio interference where it's actually been for the better of the film? I don't know. It's kind of tough. Yeah, but
not at this. Look, I think the thing to remember is, especially when you're doing adaptations of things, yes, you are pulling something from a source material. So in this case, comic books, loosely based, right? And there's a certain reverence that you want to hold to that. But at the same time, you also have to understand you're presenting something for a different medium. So there have to be some adjustments here and there. And that's where I think sometimes you'll get studios coming in saying like, maybe not this, maybe do that. But, I would say this is also as much of a studio problem as it is a creator problem. Because people at the studio, people at the studio watched this and went, let's do it. So,
So I got one. I got one note, one movie. It's a bad example. You're going to laugh when I say this, but Tango and Cash. All right, Tango and Cash. So Andrei Korolenko, whatever the director's name was, he did a great movie called Runaway Train. Fantastic action movie, one of the best ever made. Anyway, he was a director of Tango and Cash. And it was originally a very humorless film. It was played very straight. And if you really look at it, compared the beginning of the film to the prison sequence, it's like there's a stark contrast of like the tone. So the producers, John Peters, Peter Gruber, they came in and said, no. You're putting in more humor in the beginning of this film. We're changing the whole opening sequence. You make this more lighthearted in the opening. And I think that was for the better. And honestly, if it had been more humorless, it would not be as memorable or as enjoyable.
I like it. I've never seen Tango and Cash, unfortunately, but
What?
I will take your word for
The
it.
greatest action movie ever
Right.
made? Oh my God.
Whoa, that's a bold claim.
You're
Wait,
listening-
when
no,
was it
you
made?
gotta fix that. 1989 it came out in 90. It was the last. It was the very last buddy cop movie to come out.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I
Christmas
love Lethal
89.
Weapon. So
Christmas 89, very last one to come out.
all right. There it is. I got to go watch it then.
Did anyone in the chat see this? Because
Ooh,
I've
that's a good
heard
question.
I've heard from people too that okay, sorry Jamie, I haven't seen Tango and Cash either. So
What?
Oh no.
Gosh. No.
like I couldn't even tell you who's in it.
No.
Oh no.
No. We are doing a live watch stream of Tango and Cash one night.
Right now.
We're doing a live watch stream of Tango and Cash. Yes.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
let's just to be fair, I was 1 year old when this came out. And yes, I've got 3 older brothers, so there's a possibility that I saw it.
Come on, Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell, Jack Palance, Terry Hatcher. Come on.
I get it. What I'm saying is there's a chance that I've seen it when I was younger and I just don't remember it because of how young I was. So
be fair, I wasn't even a sperm within my dad's nutsack at that point in time. So
We've got to fix this. Holy crap.
we've got to fix this.
No. This is all
No,
wrong.
If I had known this when we were in Dallas, I would have had us watching Tango and Cash that first night.
Yeah, we could have watched that instead of Madam Web. Ugh. But yeah, we'll do that next time for sure.
Next time.
We've got MG saying Joker 1 was a character study. I agree, and it was a beautiful one. Joker 2 is a musical. Joker 3 will be an outer space monster movie. Let's go. Unfortunately. We've also got our main man, Dylan Lindsay, once again coming in with a $5. Oh.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool. Dylan says, you need a mix of... Oh, this is the
one
same
we
one.
already
Sorry.
read. There's one before it that we missed earlier.
Yeah, he's got... Let me grab that second one. Because I think it was about Bucky. Yeah, here we go. If we got Bucky, I don't trust the current crop of Marvel writers to actually make it a good story. We're creating a better story in our heads.
Completely agree.
Yes.
Honestly,
Max,
you did say what would we like to have seen. So
yeah.
Hey, Max, real quick, I'm just going to say real quick, we're getting a lot of love and support for a live stream of Tango and Cash. That's all I got to say.
That's good. That's good. And that means that we have to watch it and we have to report back to our loyal fans. So,
that's right.
Maybe I'll see if it's on. Is it like on Hulu or Amazon?
Oh, it's on any stream. It's like I know it's on Tubi for the longest time. You can watch it on Tubi.
Tubi.
Yeah.
Actually, Drew, you'd be happy to hear this. I watched a couple episodes of Twilight Zone last night. I was like, spooky season. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I've seen the series. I've watched the series, but last night I watched the one where season 1, where the 3 men who are in the spaceship land on a planet that looks like Earth, but everyone is stuck in a certain timeline and they're frozen. And the keeper of this cemetery of this world has to keep the peace. And so he does something to ensure that these people all stay locked in time. It's a good episode. I liked it.
It's creepy. Yeah, it's good.
It's super creepy. Yeah. Well, to answer your question, Dylan, or I don't know if there's a question here, but I agree with you. I don't trust the current crop of Marvel writers, either in the comic space or in the entertainment film space. because they've been taken over by Disney shills. And I don't think that we have the creative geniuses in there to write something that could be a great Bucky story. Now, with the Russo brothers directing, absolutely, we could do something rad. But who could we get to write something like a Bucky movie?
You need to bring Bucky. In general, they need to bring back Marcus and McFeely and just bring back. There are writers out there that are good writers. They're starting to bring some of them back in. We're just not going to see that stuff until like 2026. So, womp womp.
It's gonna be a long drought, boys. It's all right. We'll get there. And even by the time we get there, everyone's just gonna be like, "I'm all right."
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, "I don't need to go see it. It's fine."
Look, for now, just go watch Penguin. Okay, like that'll give you a few weeks of good writing, good acting,
or not.
No, Penguin's worth it. Even if you didn't like Batman, there are people that hated the Batman that are loving the Penguin. So
that'll wet your whistle. That'll do.
Speaking of which, he's going to be at New York Comic Con, Mr. Colin Farrell.
Oh, no way!
Yeah,
dude, I would go pay to go meet him. That's pretty sick. He's one of those guys who I'm like, you can do no wrong. To my main man Dylan for the two $5 super chats for a total of 10. This is for you, brother. Thank you.
I'll dance with you.
That was someone I actually met in person at Dallas Fan Expo. So he was super cool and was very grateful when I told him. I was like, yeah, I was U.S. Marine, served for 5 years, got out, and he was like, Semper Fi. I was like, you're great. You're great. John Bernthal's a good dude.
Yeah, John seems like he's someone that completely realizes how blessed he is in life.
Yeah.
With the opportunities that he's had and what it's able to do for him and his family. And like, plus he's got his, if you've never watched his podcast, you should watch his podcast.
Oh,
because
that
guy,
show with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, that was the one. That one.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah.
In general, he seems like just a guy that's like, I don't care what you've been through or what you've done or what it like where are you now? Let's who are you?
Let's
now?
unpack.
That's
that.
what matters.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
Drew, this one's for you. Capital Video coming in hot says saw both clown films and thought they were great. Hyped to pick up the TCM books next week. Woo woo.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Dude, when you say you saw, oh, sorry, go ahead, Drew.
No, just real quick. Judged upon the pre-sale launch we had last week and how fast everything sold out, it should be nuts at the convention.
It's a real quick story on that because I was driving. I was leaving work and I was driving and I was like, oh shit, it's 6:00. And I take back roads to and from work. So there's this old church that's abandoned. It's not used anymore. So I just pulled over in that parking lot and went to order. And it's like 6:03, 6:04. And I went to I'm adding the books to the cart. And then one of the covers had already freaking sold out for Silent Night in 4 minutes. I was like, dang, man.
Yeah.
So it was fun. Because I think within another 5 minutes, something else had sold out. And I was like, go Drew.
Yeah, the Depths of Valor sold out. And then right after that, the second cover of Silent Night sold out. So
yeah.
But chat, if you guys didn't hop on that pre-sale, there were 20 copies that were being sold at pre-sale, and then there will be 80 copies at New York Comic Con. So yeah, those puppies sold out in maybe the first 10 minutes. It went quick. So hopefully, chat, you guys got on that. If not, you have another opportunity at New York Comic Con. But man, those puppies went quick. They are hot. And such a great success for Drew, and that's such an awesome story, man. So I'm really glad to hear that these things are going like wildfire.
And we've planned ahead. Let's just say if things go well on Saturday, there may be a couple of surprise drops. I'm not going to say what, but
Ooh.
yeah.
We'll keep our eye out.
Actually, Max, Josh, I'll send it to you. I'll send you one of them that's going to be dropping on Saturday, so you can.
Oh, please do. Yeah. We've also got Nadia here. Says, "Evening, y'all. Good evening, Nadia. Hope you're doing well, and hope you're shrimping hard.
Shrimping.
The other thing I wanted to say was Dylan Lindsay says, "Got to go get my Bullseye merch signed from him. Let's go, boys." I almost pulled a Superman not Superman,
Soups.
a Scoops.
Oh,
Let's go, Bullseye.
Max
God,
does love that movie.
I need a clip of him. I do love that movie, and I do love Colin Farrell as Bullseye. So, yeah, it's all here. But so, with all that being said, Joker is an absolute failure. Doesn't even it doesn't even do how poorly the film is doing justice, because not only has it lost a ton of money, but the people who have seen it, fans and critics, do not like this film.
No.
They just have not responded well to it at all. Now, of course, you're going to get the people who are like, "Oh, this was great because it owned the chuds," right? But I haven't seen really a lot of people praising the film. I don't know. Have you guys seen anything that people have liked about it? Or now I know
there are a couple reviews I've seen where it seems like people are doing it just to be countercultural, just be counter narrative, be like, it's actually a good movie. But I think that's for Screen Rain or whatever. But it's like, whatever.
Now, normally, oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
Josh.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, normally I don't take any stock in Rotten Tomato reviews. In all honesty, they're bought and paid for by Amazon. So Rotten Tomatoes is usually a pretty bad idea to look at. However, the fact that both are in the 30s, I don't know, man. That's bad news bears.
Yeah,
that's pretty special.
Yeah, because the audience score is 33%, or no, the critic score is 33%, the audience score is 32%. For cinema score, I think this got a D. So, and it's the only superhero related film that's ever gotten a D. Even Morbius and Madam Web didn't score that low with audiences, and they base that on opening night. So opening night, when people come out or when they do screenings or something, they actually score people and have them grade it. So yeah, it's not
this film. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
This film is a miracle. I don't think we're saying it hard enough. This film is a miracle for how badly it is performing and how unanimous it is in its sheer badness. Look, this is catastrophic, and they're really underselling this right now.
Yeah, get wrecked, chuds. That's right.
Yeah.
Dude, and when you look at the top critics, it's even less, 28%.
Right. The only thing that I've seen come out from some critics was that some of them that wrote their reviews and gave it a negative review have come back to make comments along the lines of, this movie actually has really good things to say. I recommend that you watch it, get your expectations out of the way, be mad at it, be angry, and when you're done with that, watch it again, and you'll see the message that's there. But who's really going to do that? Nobody.
Yeah.
So
because it's going back in the first film. If there was no first Joker and you just had this film, you could probably get away with that. But the fact you had this first Joker film that established, fight the power, rise to power, and then you're saying, no, that's all bad. No, don't do that. It's like, wait, what? No.
Yeah, it's just like saying submit to your corporate, or not your corporate, but submit to your overlords, your government overlords or whatever. Just submit. Don't. Yeah.
Don't fight the power. Don't resist.
Don't fight against it. So, but hey, I mean, to be fair, Capital Video liked it, so I'm glad you liked it, man. Because like I said, that first one is one of my favorite films. Like in terms of just a film and just like a movie, not necessarily a superhero movie, just a film. I thought it was beautiful. So, now all this talk about Joker. I think that, like you said, or like you alluded to, Drew, this is like catastrophic, and I don't think people are actually recognizing how insane this is. I think this should be studied. Like, I think here in the near future, within the next decade, business schools, art schools, they're going to have to study the failures that are being on display right now. Like in the 2050s, they're going to look back and they're going to go, all right, class. So today we're going to look at the disaster that was Joker 2, Foyer Adieu, or whatever it's called. And we're going to learn how the studio boofed this whole thing and how this and that. Like, this needs to be studied on a collegiate level, or even larger than that, like on a scientific level. I don't know. This is just, it's incredible. But
I will say it's interesting looking at some of the like audience reviews, because there's been like 6 or 7 that were like, wait, so this was a musical, or I didn't realize this was a musical. So I wonder, I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe
I thought it was advertised. That's pretty interesting, because I thought it was advertised in the trailers and on the posters that it's a musical.
So we have discussed it. I don't think the trailers ever really went there to say it's a musical. They had like little bits of like a song. Yeah, but it really didn't lean into the fact that this is a musical, which they probably should have done. But
I think those audience members are most likely just like normies who are like, yeah, I like Joker. I'll go see the second one. And then we're like, what is this? But guys, I mean, come on. We're being a little toxic tonight, aren't we? All this talk of, Captain America, or Joker 2 flopping and just being a colossal failure. Captain America 4 having all these setbacks and what we would rather prefer instead of Sam Wilson, Falcon, Cap, whatever. I think we're being some toxic fans, and Variety has something to tell us. Toxic fandom, how Hollywood is battling fans who are just out for blood, from social media boot camps to super fan focus groups. That's a long article title. Did you guys ever read this or see this? Or I saw this on a Twitter post and I never actually got a chance to read it. So I figured we'd just read it a little bit tonight and see if there's anything good here.
Yeah. So let's
please enlighten us.
See what these retards have to say.
It would be my pleasure. Well, already, I mean, the first, the photo that we have on display is just like, come on, this is beautiful. So let me zoom in.
Hashtag touch Torbs.
Enhance. Wait, is this going to let me enhance?
I love that we're being toxic fans, and one of the people they have pictured is Starlight from The Boys, where the whole thing about her was like, why did you get your buccal fat removed? Like, you look strange now, and you were so beautiful. Like, we're in a world where we're literally saying, you naturally as you were so beautiful, and we're bad guys for saying that.
Yeah, because it's not body positivity. We're not accepting her as who she is, even though she didn't accept herself as who she was. So, but we're the ones wrong who are wrong because we're white men. So, and exactly, MG, he nailed it, right? This is what what was the other guy who commented? I can't even remember his name. From
Leo's,
Leo's. That's what Leo's was saying. I think that was a bit. I think Leo's was doing a bit. I don't know. I can't.
I think it was someone that for some reason stumbled onto this,
which is hilarious. Which is, I mean, I guess is good because our stuff is being promoted to other audiences. So
well, what I was gonna say is he's probably, or I'm assuming it's a he. I don't want to assume your gender, so I apologize. They them were probably watching videos on Base Kings, but like Tim Walls or
yeah.
White Men for Kamala that had Base Kings in it. So then
Yeah,
it's probably what they were expecting here. But
100%. MG says sentence structure might be pretty good. Oh, talking about the article. And then Jamin asks, I was wondering, as directors, what have the Russos done that's good outside Marvel and that is more so due to great writing? I think, Josh, you may be able to speak a little bit more towards this. I just love what the Russos did with the Marvel stuff, but I mean, do they need an extensive catalog outside of Marvel's or Marvel's universe to be recommended for another film? I don't know.
No, I think they've proven themselves with Marvel, and they didn't live up to it outside of that. But that doesn't mean I'm not happy to see them return. I think kind of if it seems like when they were look, even part of the reason they got their jobs was they did work on Community, and I think Community is amazing. I love Community. But it's also very different than what Marvel does and then what they moved on to. And it seems like the stuff that they had that was semi-successful, they didn't even direct, they just produced outside of Marvel. So
wait, were Russo brothers Daredevil?
No.
Who did Daredevil?
So it was a mix, but you had
Stephen DeKnight?
Stephen DeKnight. You had the guy that writes for
Jeff Loeb. Yeah, Jeff Loeb is the producer.
Well, Jeff Loeb. Okay, so Jeff Loeb was he's the overseeing all of Marvel Television. So he was everything Marvel TV. So Netflix, Agents of Shield, all this other stuff. God, I can't think. Christos Gage. Christos Gage is one of the writers for.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
wow. Well, I hate to say it because I don't. From what I remember reading with Christos Gage, I wasn't a big fan of his in terms of like comics and stuff. But whoever did Daredevil, I think needs to come back for another show because Daredevil is arguably, and I know Razor Fist has said this multiple times on multiple occasions. Razor Fist has legitimately touted Daredevil as the best thing the MCU has ever done. Like,
agreed.
Greater than Endgame, greater than Infinity War, greater than Winter Soldier, greater than Iron Man. He's like, Daredevil's the best thing that they've done. I don't know how much
that first season is special. That first season, it's unbelievable what they were able to do.
Pretty good, pretty damn good.
I'm trying to see who the showrunner was for the Netflix, and it's just pulling up it's just pulling up all the new stuff. So I'll try to see if I can find it.
Yeah, no one wants to watch She-Hulk. Daredevil.
No, I meant it's pulling up Scartapane, who's doing Daredevil Born Again.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
He worked on Punisher for Netflix. So and he I didn't think Punisher was that bad.
The second season?
With the Amish killer in the second season? Oh my god, that was terrible.
Season was like, ugh.
I mean,
there was some season of the didn't even have Punisher.
I mean, you could say that season 1 didn't have Punisher. No, he was just a writer. He wasn't a showrunner though, so I'd have to look up and see what episodes he wrote. But he did the Jack Ryan series as well, and there's other stuff he did. I'd have to. So, all right, yeah. It could be worse. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Jamin says Punisher wasn't good. That's fair. Yeah, Jeff Loeb, Stephen Knight. I think those are some of the guys that were working on it. So yeah.
But keep in mind too that Netflix was also demanding 13 episodes when they were coming up saying, "Hey, we've got a story for 8 episodes." So
yeah,
sometimes that's where studio interference doesn't work. Like that should have just been, okay, do your 8-episode story and that'll be your season.
Yeah, just like Warner Brothers coming to Todd Phillips and going, "Hey, we want another $1 billion. Give us another $1 billion." And he was like, "Guys, I can't just do that. I don't want to, like, give me something else. I can't make another Joker film." And they're like, "Too bad. You're making another one."
So
here's one along those lines. Peter Jackson going to New Line Cinema and saying, "Hey, I've got an idea to adapt the Lord of the Rings films in 2 films." And then you had coming back like, no, I'll give you money to make 3 films. How about that?
Yep. That's why I said the Lord of the Rings, they're a perfect example of creator and businessman coming together, studio and director coming together to make something beautiful.
So Max, to answer your question, season 1 of Daredevil was Stephen S. Tonight, who's a big key player on Angel, just FYI. Yeah.
Wow.
And then for season 2, it was Doug Petrie, who was also a key player for Angel.
No way.
I swear to God. And someone named Marco Ramirez, who I'd have to look up. And then the 3rd season was Eric Olison. So, but Steve or Drew Goddard, who is also a key player for Angel, served as a consultant for the entire series. Look, I'm just trying to get Max excited to watch Angel. These are the writers. These quality writers were on. You had so many quality writers on that show.
Yeah, Max, you're gonna have a better time watching Angel than you will Buffy. I guarantee.
Yeah,
it.
100%.
Which is so funny because for the longest time, I thought the reason why we were watching Buffy was because Buffy was going to be the standout show. But now from what I'm hearing, it's like most people watch Buffy just to watch so that they can say they can watch Angel.
There is something that's more comforting, but Buffy is more of the comfort food. Angel's the better show.
Yeah, okay.
Like I have more fun revisiting Buffy because the characters are a little bit more lighthearted, but Angel is head and shoulders by far the better show.
Nice. And I mean, it makes sense. It's got a male protagonist, so probably would be better anyway. So no, I'm kidding. There's that good old misogyny from Max. Yay. Anyway, speaking of being toxic, let's read what this has to say. On August 28th, Amanda Stenberg, the lead of the Star Wars series The Acolyte, posted an 8.5-minute video to her Instagram stories about Lucasfilm's abrupt decision not to pick up the show for a second season just a month after the season 1 finale streamed on Disney+. It's not a huge shock for me, Stenberg said. Since the series was announced in 2020, she continued, we started experiencing a rampage of what I would say hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us. Stenberg was unavailable to comment for this story. Already.
So that's what criticism is now. That's the short word for criticism.
So this is just
the long term.
Yeah, the long way of saying people didn't like
criticism
show. Yeah, criticism. So, but I mean, I feel like this is Disney's Disney 101. When someone doesn't like your thing, just play the blame game and call names, right? Play the name game.
Yeah. But also if you completely change the lore that's existed for decades and then you get upset that people are upset that you changed what's been around and established for decades, who's really at fault there? And what I'll say about this in particular with what Amanda one, fuck, were your parents thinking? But one of my clients, one of my customers is a Star Wars nut. She's female. She's Middle Eastern.
Oh.
And yep. But she's like Star Wars, every time I see her, she's in a Star Wars shirt. Her purse is a Star Wars bag. She is Star Wars through and through.
So she loved The Acolyte.
She's loved pretty much everything that's come out, including the Disney Star Wars stuff. Now, some of those stuff, she's been like, yeah, it wasn't as good as it could have been, but I still enjoy it. The Acolyte, quote from her, don't watch it, it's a piece of shit. They completely ruined the Jedi.
Wow. But the show was made for her.
Yeah, and this is someone that came in and actually was like, I know a lot of people shit on Obi-Wan, the show. She was like, I didn't mind it. I thought it was a solid show. The Leia stuff was interesting, but that's how much she just loves Star Wars. And quote, do not watch The Acolyte. It's a piece of shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
If she can like Obi-Wan and then she didn't like Acolyte, that really says something.
She
like,
liked Ahsoka as well. She thought Ahsoka was great. So
now see, Ahsoka was just bland, but
was bland.
Obi-Wan was like
I didn't
not
see
just lore breaking. It was atrociously directed and filmed and create like written. It was awful. Book of Boba Fett
tried
may
watching-
have even been worse, but
Yeah, I didn't watch Book of Boba. I tried watching one episode of Obi-Wan, and when I saw like 3 or 4-year-old Leia outrunning grown men, I was like, and we're done.
you just play that music, and they're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
I remember a certain shaved gorilla, Max. You probably know who I'm talking about, criticizing Kyle and I for criticizing that scene. It's
No way.
Yes. Yeah.
How can anyone back that scene up to say like that was a well done scene?
Yeah, it's like
Yikes. Why would you want to defend that? In other words, the Acolyte was the latest high profile target of toxic fandom. Dun dun dun. So already they've established that.
Wait. Finish that sentence though, because
the catch-all term for when fan criticism. Oh, interesting. Curdles from good faith dissatisfaction into a relentlessly negative, often bigoted online campaign against either the project or its stars or creative leaders. Okay, I need to read that one more time. In other words, the Acolyte was the latest high-profile target of quote-unquote toxic fandom, the catch-all term for when fan criticism curdles from good faith dissatisfaction into a relentlessly negative, often bigoted online campaign against. Well, they almost had it. They're almost there, right?
Honestly, I'm okay with this, and I'll say
Really?
this is why. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think which look, these guys get looped in, but I don't think it's accurate. I think we know it's not accurate. I think people that watch their videos know it's not accurate. But you have the critical drinkers and you have the Garys of the world that come through, and the retards that are over here like to point at them and go, "Oh, you're toxic, blah blah blah." But they're the ones coming in giving good faith dissatisfaction assessments. And yeah, if you look at like their thumbnail, fine, whatever, but they're purposely trying to, like, the point is for you to click their video and watch it.
Yeah.
But when you listen to what they say, they bring up valid points and they explain why.
Mm-hmm.
But then the second half of this sentence where it goes that curdles, so good faith dissatisfaction curdles into negative, often bigoted. I think this is when you get into those retards that don't have a thought of their own, yellow flash, and they just start screaming, and they just scream the same thing over and over and over and over. This is woke. This is woke. This, and then rally the other retards that can't form their own thought.
The other retards.
Listen, when you go to meetups, there's like 30 to 40% of the people that you're like, these are some cool people. And then the other 60%, you're like, it's just because they're.
You got something going on, huh, buddy?
So I will take that as a fair assessment, but they should probably at least kind of tinge,
Yeah.
It's not a majority, it's just really loud voices.
Yeah. So, sorry, Drew, did you say something else before I respond to Josh?
No, it's just, I really see this as an article that's bashing criticism in general. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, I'm interested to read on to see what they actually do have to say. But to Josh's point, like you were saying, dude, like the yellow flashes of the online community. Who else does that really badly? Honestly, I could name a few names, but I'm afraid that if I did, some of our fans would also get upset, and then it'd be like, oh no, here we go. But yes, there are a lot of people online who will just go, oh, it sucked. It was so bad. It sucked so bad. It was.
Are you yelling with an accent right now?
Oh, fucking pronouns. No, I'm kidding. But no, it's just like, if you, like you said, Josh, if you cannot articulate your points on why you think something was bad or why you think something was good, then that good faith discussion kind of ends there, and then you just are saying words just to be heard. And then the fans who do watch your stuff, which granted there is a large portion of fandom that will seek out these videos, will just go to have that confirmation bias. So they didn't like the film either, and so they'll go, "Yeah, it fucking sucked. Yeah, 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 it was bad, right?" And so they like to have that or that affirmation, the reaffirmation of someone agreeing with them. But without the Garys and the critical drinkers, it does get relegated down to just the amoeba level discussion of just like woke, bad, sucked, oh, it's bad, without any like, here's why. So
Right.
In a franchise economy increasingly dependent upon established audience devotion to drive the bottom line, the threat of toxic fandoms poisoning that enthusiasm. Whoa, hey, hey, what? The threat of toxic fandoms poisoning that enthusiasm. You know what this means? This is the same exact thing of, why can't you let us just enjoy something? Why can't you let us just be happy?
The only thing I'll say is they've defined toxic fandom as the catch-all term when fan criticism curdles from good faith dissatisfaction. So I'm still okay with that.
Okay.
Because
So
they're saying because they blatantly say that people are using toxic fandom as a catch-all when that's
Right.
not necessarily all it is. But they are saying it. But and that's the thing though. Like if you come in and if you have someone like a Gary or you coming in saying, "Hey, yeah, this whole Rings of Power is bullshit because it completely undermines everything Tolkien set up," and then suddenly people are like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to watch it then." Like that's kind of what they're saying is happening, which is fine. Like that should happen.
Yeah.
We have
Well,
channels for a reason.
I think even Drinker had mentioned this, but Drinker had more views on his Acolyte videos criticizing the show than the show itself. Like that's what we're talking about here. Like more people are coming to see other people review and react and respond to the show than go watch the show itself, because they are just absolutely done with this nonsense. And they know that they'll probably get better production from a YouTuber. So
that's always a great feeling. And I've only had this happen once on a much smaller scale, but when I had a review get more unique views than a book sold copies of.
Wow. That's awesome. I didn't know that. Do you remember which book it was?
It was Suicide Squad, and it was when Sean Ryan was writing it, which was around the time the movie was coming out.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But of course, it's a fantastic feeling. I feel like that would be in and of itself a reason to be like, yeah, I know that my criticisms and my reviews are making an impact. So but yeah, in a franchise economy increasingly dependent upon established audience devotion to drive the bottom line, the threat of, now if they were to say, well, even toxic fandoms, even the ones that they say are bigoted and, relentlessly negative, blah, 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 even the toxic fandoms that they do describe here, I still don't know if it is poisoning enthusiasm, because the YouTube channels that are like overly positive, the ones that are total shills, I never get recommended that stuff, nor do I seek it out. So for me, I could hate on whatever I want and never watch a single video of someone who says that they like it.
I see them as the voices of reality. They're the ones that are like, hey, all right, hey, quit huffing the paint, come back down to earth. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Wait, what? Did you just try and scroll?
I did. I came over to the side and tried scrolling, and I was like, why isn't it go?
Oops. Do you want me to scroll down? What's down here?
I was just gonna see what else they say. What else they say? Oh man.
So it says has become seemingly intractable headache for almost every studio. and it's only getting worse.
But so it's making it sound like that what they're saying is that this show is perfectly fine and it would have been successful if there wasn't this quote unquote toxic fandom talking smack about the show, which I call bullshit on.
Yes, yeah. Even if we were to get rid of their so-called toxic fandom, which granted has validity because we have already mentioned that, yeah, there are channels that are just have a zero or a room level IQ, right? With those being gone, like you said, Drew, you're still going to get the majority of larger channels having legitimate criticism about the show. So, is that kind of what you were articulating?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
They can take that aside. It was not a good show. It doesn't matter whatever Variety can do to mask the fact, by saying like, oh yeah, this is a great show. It would have been fine. It would have been successful without toxic fandom. I'm calling bullshit on. No, they're full of shit.
Yeah,
I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt until we finish the article, because they've kind of presented both aspects, even though they are leaning more of the toxic fandom bad. I'm curious to see how they wrap
it up, put a little bow on it. Before we do that, yeah, Dylan Lindsay coming in for another super chat, dude. Thank you so much for the $2. He says, Josh, why the yellow flash hate? I feel like I'm missing lore. Well, Dylan, you can switch Josh and put Max, because I think I'm honestly maybe the biggest perpetrator of this. I can't stand his content. And Josh, I'll let you speak if you want on this as well.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, when I said they don't have an original thought of their own, I think he falls into that category quite well.
Correct.
If he did not have anyone else speaking to things before him or that he could pull from, he would not be able to articulate anything. And even with that, he usually fails to articulate anything.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so sad. It's like other people will still have the same take, and he still will articulate it worse than them, and it'll be the same thing. Completely unoriginal, uninspired. There's nothing there of real substance. Like, you could watch 30 of his videos in a day and they're the same exact thing, and you would walk away no better than when you first watched, or when you didn't watch them, or when you watched them. You'd actually probably end up losing brain cells. So there you go, MG. Just a bunch of woke trash.
Trash.
And you know what? I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I even think that, like, Ryan Kinnell, like, there are videos from Ryan that, yeah, he does the yelling thing, and he puts on like the kind of angry, persona, but they're legitimate videos that I find either funny or actually informative, where he will say, no, someone got it wrong. This is the actual thing that's being said. And I do respect Ryan for some of his research there. And if you actually get him at a meetup and you start talking nerd shit with him, he's autistically intelligent. So I'll give him that. And I know, because I know a lot of people hate on him. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. He's a nice guy. Yeah. I think he's Air Force just like me. So yeah, we got to chat about that for a little bit.
No, he was Navy.
Oh, he was Navy? Oh, okay, never mind.
He was a butt pirate on the Navy.
That's right, yeah. He was swabbing those decks. Yeah.
Swabbing them decks. Those dicks. I mean decks. Jamin says, yeah, I always get confused with clownfish and yellow flash. Yeah, I think clownfish can articulate. However, I don't know. I still can't seem to get through a clownfish video, because it just feels like it's like, what's the point? What are we trying to get to? Can we get to the thing? So
yeah, clownfish, I don't mind. Clownfish can articulate. The whole geeky sparkles of it all. Like, it's hard. It's hard for me to get past their presentation.
Yeah.
But he's actually done some solid stuff, and a lot of times he'll come in more from like the actual industry, like business side of it. which
true.
doesn't always excite as many people. But he's also worked for Disney, and he's been there. Like he's got an inside scope. Also, I will say that my opinion is different than yours of Ryan Kennel. So,
ooh, interesting.
no, but here's the thing. I will also point out, out of the 4 times that I've met him, and by saying 3 or 4, I don't mean individual days. I mean collectively.
Sure,
He has not spoken to me once.
that's fair. That is fair. Like
So
the meetups are, yeah. I think there are some people who have met him in real life and go, I don't get it, you know, or they actually come away being antagonized and being like, yeah, I don't, yeah. So, MG also has kind of a different take here. He says, I really dislike Ryan's clickbait videos.
I can't stand his yelling.
It gets very grating. It gets grating after a while.
Very
for sure.
grating.
But if he's on a live stream and he can talk freely, he knows his shit, and I generally agree with him. And that's kind of where he does his best work, is live streams. So, or when he's talking Star Wars. So, Clownfish is good, but he rambles, and Geeky Sparkles gets in there. yeah. So, but better than Yellow Flash. I think that's what, you know, that like it's not even, it's night and day. So there is that. The article goes on to say, it comes with the territory, but it's gotten incredibly loud in the past couple years, says a veteran marketing executive at a major studio. A veteran marketing executive at a major studio. Okay. People are just out for blood regardless. They think the purity of the first version will never be replaced, or you've done something to upset the canon of a beloved franchise, and they're going to take you down for doing so. They think the purity of the first version will never be replaced. False. Judge Dredd, the initial one with Sly, Sylvester Stallone, I do not think that it is a better film than Dredd 3D with Carl Urban. I think that's a better film. And that was new, right? So
real quick, to your point, Max, what's interesting about the Judge Dredd film with Sly Stallone, so I've read a lot of Judge Dredd, and there is a lot from the comic books that's actually in the Sly Stallone film. A lot of plot points that are in that movie. And what's interesting is that the one with Carl Urban, not really from the comics, a lot of that stuff, lots of plots, that's actually better than the Sly Stallone film, which is shocking.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. It's like, you know, because we can grade the film based off of its comic book accuracy, in which case Civil War would get an F. And then, but then you like grade Civil War on a film basis, and it gets a pretty good grade. You know, it's a really good film. So, but as a comic book adaptation, like failing grade. So then the next thing it says, you've done something to upset the canon of a beloved franchise. Yes, like that's not even for dispute. Like, yes, that's 100%. So many of these films have completely gone away from the canon or the lore or the characterization. I mean, like foundational aspects of what made these things great to begin with, why it had a fan base in the first place. No, they'll just toss it. They'll just throw it away, or they'll subvert it and they'll go, why don't you like it? And it's like, well, because what you made is not what we loved in the first place. Now, this third part of this, to take you down for doing so, we're just extending our voices as well. You know, you get the shills who extend their voices and say how much they love something. Oh, he Vadered. It's red. Guys, it's red. He Vadered. But then we'll come out and we'll say, that's retarded. And then they're like, oh, they're trying to take down the studio. No. We're just trying to tell you guys how we will give you money, essentially. I mean, really, that's what it is, right? By us speaking out and vocalizing our critique, our criticisms, and what we think could be done better, we're essentially telling them how they could make more money.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's not as important as the message, Max. That's not as important.
And
You're
like,
right,
look,
true, yeah.
I'll even say like the he Vader moment. Yeah, it was fine. It's a fine moment. I don't hate the moment, but that 2 seconds doesn't save the entire series. It's like
No.
nope. Keep in mind, all that's from that marketing executive's perspective.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Sometimes toxic fandoms behave reactively. A House of the Dragon episode featuring 2 female characters kissing, and an episode of The Last of Us focusing on a gay couple were both review bombed. Were they review bombed, or were they just not good episodes of the shows? I didn't watch either, so I can't speak to it.
I didn't watch either. I know The Last of Us, people were kind of that whole episode is like an aside. It just steps aside to tell that story. I saw both. I saw people that loved it. I saw people that hated it. I saw people that thought it was fine, but it just felt out of place because it took away from the driving plot. As far as House of Dragon, like everything that I've seen from House of Dragon, for the most part, people have loved, except for season 2. They felt rough. There were things that were rough about season 2, but season 1 was like praise.
Dude, Gary, Mahler, Ryan, and Fringy and Shad did a live stream every single episode, like after each episode, praising how great it was, at least for the first season. The second season, like you said, fell off the rails a little bit. But like they were doing live streams where they were like, this is awesome. Like I love where this is going. So the practice, because what about review positive bombing or positive review bombing, right? Like
also, how much of this review bombing is legitimate people review bombing, and how much of it is studios potentially putting people up to do it so they can come out and go like, oh, we're the victim. Because that
100%.
That not all the time, but it's happened.
It happened with Ghostbuster 2016.
Yep.
They 100% manufactured a lot of girl Ghostbusters, right? They just like took that to the nth degree, and then everyone was like, no, it's just bad. I mean, yes, girl Ghostbusters, no one wants this, but at the same time, it's also very bad. So
listen, if you ever want to know what a studio thinks about their project, see if they release it early. Like for critics.
Ooh, yeah.
So if they let critics give their takes, early before the film releases, then they think they have a solid project on their hands. If they say, hey, the review embargo does not lift until the day of release, then the studio themselves know they have a fucking terrible project. But then they're gonna instead of just saying like, yeah, this is bad, they're gonna be like, oh no, all these people they're hating on us. They're the phobes and the is out here.
All the phobes and the is. Yeah. I've never seen this, but this sounds awesome. A fan edit of a Judge Dredd film. Okay. Jamin says the Lord of the Rings movies were not a 1-to-1 adaptation. Correct. But they captured the essence and they captured the themes, so I totally agree. Dylan, if you like Judge Dredd versus Alien, you will love Judge Dredd and Batman. That book is drawn by Sam Keith. Mwah. So awesome. So freaking cool. So,
and I'm just going to recommend. I did a while ago, but like I've honestly been doing a deep dive back into Judge Dredd, reading a lot of the older stuff. And I love this. It is so hysterical, the humor these guys had. And well, not just that, early Brian Bolland. Is that you want to see an artistic genius kicking off? Look at Brian Bolland, his black and whites. He's doing Judge Dredd versus Judge Death.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. I recommend everyone check that out to see the brilliance of Brian Bolland on display.
Was Archie Goodwin the writer for Batman versus Judge Dredd?
I'm thinking it was Alan Grant. It might have been Alan Grant. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it is Alan Grant. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a fun little series. But yeah, no, I mean, Brian Boland's also does a beautiful Wonder Woman. The Brian Boland Wonder Woman covers. Joe Corallo, our good friend of the show, Joe Corallo, he was actually the one who said, "Hey, Max, go check out the Brian Boland Wonder Woman series." So loved those. Loved the Brian Boland Judge Dredd stuff, they are works of art, man, for sure.
Yeah, he was one of the first comic book artists to really start doing only covers. It's like him and Art Adams were like those two guys that are really on the forefront of just doing covers only.
Well deserved. The practice of mobbing sites like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb with negative user reviews and positive ones, which gained mainstream attention following the premiere of 2017 Star Wars The Last Jedi. I would say this actually, if they are going to talk about review bombing, I think this started actually in 2016 with female Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But, yeah. An entire YouTube ecosystem is devoted to declaring projects like The Marvels and The Boys woke garbage. Guys, woke garbage.
Yellow Flash. Like,
yep, nailed it. Wait, are we part of this YouTube ecosystem, guys?
We don't
part of the problem?
listen, the only time we say woke garbage is when we're making fun of Yellow Flash.
Yeah, wait, actually, when was the last time that we like actually said woke on this channel and like meant it?
I don't know if I ever have.
Maybe I think I've said it, but I know I've said it before, but
I've talked
like
about identity politics, and if you prioritize identity politics over your story or characters, but I don't know if I've ever been like, oh, that's woke.
Yeah, no, the term, like the actual word woke, I don't think I've used it in a genuine context where I've legitimately meant this thing was so woke. I don't know, maybe I'm sure I've said it. Like I'm not saying I haven't, but I don't remember the last time I did. I feel like it's been a while.
Well, I purposely don't, because I know there's a whole audience that the moment you say woke, they're just going to stop listening. Whereas if I say what I'm thinking without using it, I mean, they're still probably going to stop listening, but I force you to actually listen to my point first. So.
Yes, 100%. That was even when I did the video of Glenn O'Leary, the comic shop owner, and I started using terminology like cancel pigs, because the cancel mob was out to get him, and I used cancel pig. And someone actually was in the comments like, the second you used cancel pig, I knew that you were a rage baiting woke or rage baiting right winger, racist, bigot, and so I unfollowed or whatever. And I was like, okay,
you're a consequence pig. Sorry, not a cancel pig. Consequence. Pig.
Oh yes, yeah. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate it. Jamin says, you guys need to do a stream for where to start with DC, Marvel, other comics one day for beginners like me. I would love it. Ooh, that's a good idea.
So once my graphic content series starts dropping, that will partially be what that does.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
I like
it.
So
my goal there is to kind of go in a little bit of an order that it's easier for people to digest and get introduced to the characters and all that.
Yeah, and Kyle and I, back in the day, going back a couple of years, we for a certain store before it was relegated to just selling porn, we did like comics for beginners, talking about like where to start with certain characters, and it was a blast. We had fun doing that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I like that a lot. Well, we can probably end things here. I think when we realized that we're part of the YouTube ecosystem devoted to calling projects woke garbage, I think we can call it a night.
Max, I'm sorry, I'm completely tuned out from what that dickhead wrote in the article because I want that Outback Steakhouse steak and the fries. I'm more interested in that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That actually looks really good. So, but yeah, I mean, this thing goes on for a while, so we could take like another hour. But honestly, from what we've already come to the conclusion of, is like every time we're able to dispute these claims because they are so unsubstantiated and they're so rote. Like, this is what everyone has to say every single time. Now, granted, Variety did do something different, and as Josh, you mentioned, they discerned between genuine good faith criticism and toxic fandom. However, those lines are pretty blurred from what I could tell from what they were trying to say here. I don't know. What do you think? I have a feeling that it's going to be more of the same, but yeah, maybe we can revisit this again because it's like I said, it's a long boy. So, oh, it talks about Rings of Power. They're very vocal, says one studio exec. Interesting. Well, gentlemen, I think that should do it for this evening. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I'm glad we were able to make it back here. Like I said, it's been a while, and it feels good to be back in the man cave. So, anything you guys want to shout out before we head out for the evening?
I do want to say thanks to everyone who backed the pre-sales for Unholy Nightmare, Silent Nights, and Depths of Valor. Wednesday night, we are launching Silent Nights on the Kickstarter. That is when the Kickstarter goes live. I'm trying to figure out where we can do anything special for Wednesday night, but we'll see what happens. And Max, Josh, I sent you guys the surprise Saturday drop image in the text, so you guys can be able to see what it is.
Sweetness.
Right. I'm gonna have to take a peek. Ooh, very nice. My wife. Awesome. Well, sweet, man. Thank you for sending that. That'll be dope. But yeah, chat, be on the lookout for Drew dropping the Silent Night Kickstarter this Wednesday. We'll see if we can find a channel that will be able to maybe do a live stream with you guys. Because unfortunately, I will not be able to, but maybe we can find someone within the comic community that will be able to host you guys, because that'll be a really cool opening. And then, Josh, what you got going on this week? Anything? Is Pop by Culture this Tuesday, or are you doing the comic reviews?
I think we're going to try to do the top 5 comics. I've got to partner with Drew and see if he's able to do that.
What day?
Tuesday.
What time? What time?
It would have been, so it would be 8 p.m. Central Time. We'll talk. We can talk after. If we'll have something Tuesday.
I should have time. I should have time Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night. I should be fine.
So that looks like that's the plan.
So, all right. So, so couple things this week then. So we've got your stream Tuesday. We've got Drew dropping his Silent Night Kickstarter on Wednesday. And then Friday night, we'll be going over Absolute Buttman. So be a pretty fun week for everyone. It'll be plenty of debauchery. Be having a good time. So thank you to the chat, everyone who is here. Please, once again, if you are new, go follow these guys. You can sub to them in the description below. I have all their links. Go check out TCM Press. Go check out Pop by Culture. Go sign up for the email link for Aaron Sparrow's comic. I have read halfway through the
Kneelbeforedoomface.
The Kneelbeforedoomface script. I was like, Doomfist?
Doomfist. God.
The Kneelbeforedoomface script, and it is brilliant. I think people are really going to love it. I was laughing my ass off while also just grinning from ear to ear. So that's going to be great.
You just reminded me. Yeah, New York, Aaron and I were going to be there with, amongst everything else, our joint cover of Doomface versus Recluse by Juan Jose Reap.
Ooh, that's right. Juan Jose Reap, known for his beautiful art in that Venom book. So
yes, and only 100 copies, period, of just of that. That's it.
I'm gonna be sending Drew some money to make sure I get one of those. That cover's bomb too. Have you shown that cover yet or no?
We have. It's been a while since we showed it. But Max, you want to show it? You want to?
I don't have it on me right now, but on Friday, let's absolutely do it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, waiting on that email notice for Doomface. He and Murphy are working on the campaign page as we speak. So that will be coming out soon. We do not have a release date yet for Doomface, but yeah, don't tell me what to do, fucking nerd.
Nerd.
Bunch of nerds. But yeah, I think that should be it. So, gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining me this evening. Always a pleasure to hang out with you guys and talk about this fun stuff. All this woke trash. All this woke garbage.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh yeah. Woke. God. We need that clip as well. Gosh dang. So many good ones. Oh well. But yeah, Josh, you may be joining us this Friday for Absolute Buttman.
Yeah. So it looks like that's the plan.
Yeah.
All right.
That's if you're so you're not going to New York? You're not coming?
No, I text you. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna be able to. I was trying to get it reworked so I could adjust my schedule at work, and it's not happening. There's too much chaos in my job right now. So
son of a bitch.
Yeah. That deserves one of these.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah.
No, that's all right. I won't be able to go either, but I know you and Aaron will be there. Murphy will be there, so you guys are going to have a blast. Get a picture with Colin Farrell for me.
I'll try to.
Joe's going to be there? Oh.
Yeah, I know Wednesday night is going to be an epic dinner because it's going to be Aaron, Joe, me, HH. Yeah. We're all going out to dinner.
Oh, nice, dude. That's going to be awesome. Hell yeah. Well, have a blast, man. Report back. We will share your exploits with the chat, and we look forward to hearing about all your awesome New York Comic Con stories. Until then, we'll see you guys Tuesday night on Josh's channel. Stay tuned for Wednesday for Drew's book to be launched, and then hang out with us Friday night as we go over Absolute Buttman and give you guys all the juicy deets of what we think of this new Scott Snyder book. Will it change the industry? I guess we'll just have to find out. So, no. Spoilers? No. But have a good night, guys. Enjoy Sunday Night Football. We'll talk to y'all soon.